Woo, baby! 39 days. 39 days until Commanders. For your Philadelphia Eagles, 39 days. How you doing? Man. And by the way, this team, this Eagle team, never fails to give content. Their highs and lows and everything in between. By the way, I want to start the program out. And I got to tell you, okay? I've got to tell you that it's funny when I hear people say, well, the Eagles will never have a down year. And you're like, wait a minute. Last year, the Kansas City Chiefs went 6-11 after going 7 years to a conference championship game and 5 Super Bowls. And that thing ran out of gas. The New England Patriots went 19 years. And for 3 years, it ran out of gas. Shit runs out of gas, dude. Things happen. You take downs. I mean, even the greats. Every single team has done this. Now, the key between the Eagles and the Chiefs and people like the Seahawks, those downs don't stay down. Like, they're not going to be down and they're not going to stay down for like 3 or 4 years or 15 years like the Jets. That's not going to happen. So, at the end of the day, it's NFL football. Things run its course. Okay? Good day, Sills. Appreciate it. Like I said, things happen. Every single franchise in NFL history goes through ups and downs. It's part of the sport. It is absolutely part of the sport. Zander just gave me an update. Stephon Diggs. Funny, I had Stephon Diggs here for the Eagles. Right there. Should the Eagles sign Stephon Diggs? Another headache. Interesting. Probably one of the reasons why they didn't, because why would they want to bring another headache in? And it would be admitting to surrendering. Now, here's the troubling thing as we're going into camp, even deeper now. So you're into your second week now, and this is a big week to get yourself prepped and the dress rehearsal to start getting ready for the upcoming season. You're almost a month out from the start of the season here. No Devontae Smith and no Mekhi Levin today. From what we understood from Gary Cobb and others that were there, it was better for the offense compared to what it was in the chaotic offensive passing game that it was on Tuesday. So it was better. I don't know what better means, though. Better what? And unfortunately, another day and day 4 without Lane Johnson. Now listen, I'm going to throw this out here to you. And do I believe it on August 5th? No. But is he contemplating retiring? Okay, let's put it together. Well, he struggles from mental health, and he's 36. I don't know. I hope he's okay. I mean, when you're out that long, now, is it catastrophic to a guy like Lane Johnson compared to it being catastrophic to a guy like Mekhi Levin? No, it's not. But at the end of the day, you got to ask the question. Is he contemplating retiring? Is he thinking about, well, maybe this is it? You're hoping it is, you hope it is a situation where he's just trying to get his mind right. Okay. And it's 4 straight days that no Lane Johnson on the field. I mean, what would be the reasoning? Now, hey, listen, it could be a plethora of things. And to a conversation I had with Zander yesterday, I would say this to you too as well. If it was something that they were resting him, they would just say it's a Veterans Day. We're going to rest the guy. like they did with Landon, I think today or yesterday it was, where they went like this. Yeah, we're just resting Landon. Maybe, I think they would be transparent with that. So, I mean, who knows? But there is no doubt he is one of the most important players that football team needs to have on the field. There is no question that he is an important piece, especially if you're going to get your run game right. Make no mistake about it. Now, here, you see people back here? This is always a funny take. And here, I saw somebody back here say Stefon Diggs. And Stefon Diggs is, what was he? What did this one person say? Probably LJ again, but what did he say? He said that, I think he said that Stefon Diggs is toast, or he's not good anymore. Well, what the hell do you think you have in your wide receiver room? What do you think you have? I mean, top flight wideouts? So bad, you signed a guy today. The Patriots lost their quarterback. The Chiefs lost their quarterback. They didn't run out of gas. They lost their franchise quarterback. Awful take. Kansas City lost their quarterback. They were losing anyway. Patriots lost their quarterback. That's called running out of gas. Talent-wise and coaching-wise. Awful take. Get this, guys. This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about again. Awful take. Franchises run their course. They ran out of talent, and they didn't have good players on the team anymore. That's called running its course or getting older. Getting older. Bro, sit back and watch the show. You'll be all right. Yo, Sills, hope all is well. You son of a man, you. Yo, you need to work on that chicken scratch you consider handwriting. Love you, man. Salute. Thank you very much. You got a problem with that? That's probably so. Hey, that's why it's called, like, it's like the Da Vinci Code. Only one guy can figure it out. Me. Right? Eagles just signed 3 dudes off the street for wide receivers. Names were Mo, Larry, Curly, and anyone. Confirmed. We're going to get to this here in a minute. Man, where to start? Vic spoke today. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Mekhi Lemon becoming a problem. I'm going to ask this question right out of the gate. Is it the wide receiver room? Is it the quarterback? Or is it the OC on why they're struggling so far in training camp? Oh, and Jalen spoke. We'll talk about that. Is it the wide receiver room or the quarterback? That's the problem. Looks to me, my friend, you know what it looks like to me? When you have lesser talent, it's exposing pretty much everything. Get this. We don't have any problems. It's camp. You don't have any problems with a wide receiver who hasn't taken but 2 days of reps in OTAs and minicamp and in training camp. And we have no problems in training camp. And you've got a bunch of stiffs at wide receiver on the other side of Devontae Smith. You got to be kidding me. Hey, by the way, his post and being recognized is going to be limited, because I saw his bullshit today with Zander, and bro, that guy swears nothing's wrong. Diggs had 1,013 yards last season. There's your Devontae Smith wide receiver 2 replacement. I don't care about his off the field BS. He can still run a good route and catch. That's over with, Mikey. He's now a member of the Washington Commanders. He's now playing with Jaden Daniels. The Eagles obsessed 49er fans are a joke. Don't you have a cokehead coach and have your entire team getting zapped by a substation, but you'd rather be here talking birds? By the way, Battle Royale, Mark Farzetta will be with us at 4:30. Big Z's going to pop on before the Birds 365 special show. That'll be right after our program. Let's go here. I like seeing new people in here. Thank you for coming in. Jalen has to have elite players around him. He can't elevate those around him consistently through passing. So you Jalen forever, guys, getting ready to find out. I completely agree. They are getting ready. Eagles only team in history to bring in guys during training camp. Yeah, well, guess what? Here's the one thing that I'll say. Anything that Howie Roseman wants to do when it comes to personnel swings, I don't have a problem with. Because the guy's been too successful. You know, the one thing that he completely does to me, and I've got to always remember this, is that every time Howie has done something, he's going to do it, okay? He's going to do it until he gets it right. He's not just going to sit there and let the problem fester. So I'm going to give him his kudos here on this. If he wants to go out there and he wants to address it maybe even as you get into the season, I don't know if there's anybody out there that's going to be able to help the football team, but Roseman has done the right thing when it comes to retooling the football team. In season, I think both of his off seasons, by the way, these two edge rushers that they ended up getting, Epicadi and the other guy, look like Vic likes them a lot more than they did the other two from a year ago. And they're making more of an impression than last year's guys. So that's a good thing, because anytime your coordinator is mentioning those guys and mentioning your name, that means he's front and center with you, and he's going to look at playing you. You know, every single time he gets to the microphone, you know the one name that he keeps bringing up is Michael Carter. He goes, I feel comfortable putting Michael Carter in the slot or in the safety position. I feel pretty comfortable with that. That's a great thing to hear if you're Michael Carter. I stand by this. We have to sign, draft, an ex opposite of Smitty. I fully believe Lemon can be a stud, but the recipe on Smitty and AJ needs to be replicated with another X that threatens defenses more. Probably Yaks too. And what you're talking about. Also, the presence of a player. Those guys are hard to find, dude. My team have more offensive talent than the Eagles. Keep dreaming. Yeah, I don't see explosive players on the Eagles right now outside of Barkley and Smith. Bro, Cardinals haven't been relevant in 100 years. Chills, hey, dude, the Cardinals haven't been relevant since they were in Chicago. I mean, seriously. They haven't been relevant since you were in Chicago, dude. Chills, if the wide receiver room is not going to be good this year, would you consider bringing back Zach Ertz? Go 2 tight end? Maybe. You know, most teams today are in 3 wide and 2 tight end. And, you know, it would be something to think about, because I don't think there's another guy out there walking the street right now where you're comfortable bringing another wide receiver. And who? DeAndre Hopkins? These guys are long in the tooth, dude. I asked the question, is it the quarterback or the wide receiver room? Boy, I'll tell you, this A.J. Brown thing and them letting him walk out the room, they're going to regret this, man. It looks very, how about this? It looks very common. That doesn't look exceptional anymore. And you know, the one thing that you're hearing different than the last couple camps, and I'm talking like the last couple of years, the offense didn't get their ass kicked this bad. You never heard the offense like losing and looking poorly, pre-snap penalties, things that take no athleticism, like offsides, illegal procedures, all of that shit is concentration, new faces. It's almost like it's falling apart in front of your face. Now, how much does that really lead to Lane and A? Hey, by the way, think about this for a second. Not having AJ and Lane in your huddle, man, that's a lot. Ask yourself, if you took out Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, you think the Rams would be lesser? Of course they would. I mean, of course. Or Joe Burrow, you lose Higgins and you lose Chase. Of course you're lesser. Eagles on the waiver wire, they didn't even have cuts yet. Geez, talk about depth. Dude, how about this? Guys like Reyes and all these guys in here, you know what they were telling you? You're deep as hell. Excuse me. At wideout. Yeah, you're deep at wideout just with bodies. I'd be willing to send a 3 and a 5. And Keely Ringo, that's not going to get Brian Thomas Jr., dude. Brian Thomas Jr., a 3 of 5, and Keely Ringo for a guy who I think is still on a rookie contract? No way. That would be like that would be the Jags. That would be the Jags saying that the pick was a bust if you did something like that. Bro, Darius Cooper? You guys are naming people that are like guys. These people are not exceptional people. Jalen can love Wicks all you want. That's not a top flight guy. Do you understand? I'm not sure. And I think you're now seeing it. The talent level on the offense is extremely down with no Lane and with no AJ on the field. That's not the same offense. So you went from exceptional to decent. We've always been the Philadelphia Eagles that been in the playoffs 8 of the last 9 years and been to 3 Super Bowls last 9 years. This has never been the Philadelphia A.J. Browns. Bro, you're not as talented as those Super Bowl teams. You only think you are. Hey, Sills, looking at the Chargers depth chart, Harbaugh, what he has done in 2 years is completely insane. Take a look at it when you get a chance. I know what he's done. That's why when they got rid of Tom Telesco, he took over getting the players in. You know, and Kim, what's the biggest advantage that Jim Harbaugh has over anybody else, including even guys like John Schneider and Howie Roseman? What do you think the biggest advantage he has? Jim Harbaugh. What do you think what's the biggest advantage? What do you think, Kim? What is Jim Harbaugh's biggest advantage that he has? Experience. Okay? Getting closer. He knows all the kids coming out of college. Correct. He's recruited them all for Michigan. It's more of a detailed recruiting process because you've been recruiting these kids since they were in high school. And he knows these kids since they were 17, 18, 19 years old and were in the transfer portal. He knows all these people that have been in the portal. He knows all these people, why they went to the portal. He knows them from high school. He knows why Michigan didn't take them. Same thing Jimmy Johnson had the advantage of. Same thing Pete Carroll had the advantage of early on in Seattle when he was at Southern Cal. Those guys know all the college personnel. That's why you're seeing great players showing up in Los Angeles with the Chargers. It's because Jim has been recruiting those players for 5-6 years. And he knew those guys going into the draft. So he knows, like, same thing with Jimmy. Jimmy knew all these guys. He knew what the deficiencies were. He knew why a guy went in the 3rd or 4th round. Decent talent, at least $230 million offense. See if Dilfer Hurts lives up to the name and defense carries to the promised land. Would you consider Ertz given the tight end situation? I would consider any playmakers right now if I were the Eagles. You need playmakers. Bro, if Barkley doesn't get the run game going, this thing's over. End of story. It's over. You're not going to win games throwing the ball. And the only way you're going to improve your pass game is if that run game shows up. Your run game right now is all, it hinges on what you're going to do this year offensively. And get this, get used to these games. You're going to be playing football games 20-17 all year long. Your margin of error has now been cut even more so than it was a year ago. You're going to be playing games 2017. It would not shock me if the Philadelphia Eagles this year have at least 10 games where they held opponents under 19 points and still not have a winning record, 8-9. It would not shock me. People swear A.J. Brown was the whole Eagle success the last 9 years. What? He's only been on a team 4. No one knows what the fuck this offense will look like. Well, so far, it's looked like shit. And by the way, even with all the things that were being said about the team the last 5 years, nobody said the offense looked like shit. Because there was one dynamic in it that looked awesome. The run game. The pass game, you're here because you didn't develop your quarterback in a passing game. This is why you're here. You're in this position right now because you have failed to develop the passing game since 22. Do you not understand that? You have not been balanced. And it's now rearing its head the last 3 years, including the Super Bowl year. You're in this position because of the lack of developing a passing game. You don't think the Eagles' offense is going to be garbage, Trey? You think that Jalen is elite, Trey? Winning games having to throw the ball 30 to 40 times always fails, not suitable. No one's saying throw the ball 35 to 40 times. In your Super Bowl year, you ran the ball 38 times, ran the ball 20 times. Get this. Jack shit to do with the passing game. We need a new scheme so we can quit playing bully ball. It doesn't work when our players get hurt, and it hurts the players sometimes too. Folks, so like when you're fighting Mike Tyson, his suggestion is everyone's caught up with Tyson's right hand or George Foreman's right hand. I saw George Foreman sitting ringside at 44 years of age, knock a 26-year-old heavyweight champion out. Nobody caught up with him. We aren't in this for passing stats. That guy's so bad. So awful. You definitely got Kelly Ringgold with Lemon. He has the same exact MO. Sales percentage lane retires. 20%? Dude, I put that out there on my X account. And I said, you don't think Lane's contemplating retiring, do you? And, you know, again, I don't think so. I don't think so, but I don't know. 4 straight days? What if he misses the entire week? Sills, do you think if the system is what it's supposed to be, these wide receivers can succeed? Packers don't have any big-time wideouts. I take Smitty over their wideouts. I think the system being solid matters when judging. Ask yourself this, though. Do you have the personnel around the quarterback to be able to help the quarterback spread the ball around? Sean Mannion versus Matt LaFleur? That's a no-brainer. Matt LaFleur is one of the better play callers. Their O-line is pretty damn good, too. And get this, their quarterback is a better passer in the pocket. You keep coming back to one thing, Bird. Jalen is not that great in the pocket. He's a great all-around player. He's not a great passer. I thought Sills was a trends guy. Trends say Hurts is a winner, will continue to win at a high clip. Dude, wins and losses are not trends. That's based on your talent. If you have 1 year where you have great talent and how he keeps putting the talent on the field, you're going to win. When that talent is no longer and it's diminished, you're not going to win. End of story. Whether it's Hurts or Brady. Doesn't matter. The Jimmies and Joes, bro. This is about who's on the roster and who's in the huddle. You don't have a quarterback. And 90% of the teams in the league don't have a quarterback that can carry a football team. Josh Allen's a better football player. Eagles sucked all year. Sills, from the Meckel level, Hurts is using the middle a lot more. That's a good sign. Whether it works or not, it's a point of emphasis. So I'm excited to see them use the whole field. Yes, I've heard the same thing, Twiz, and that is a good sign. You said Brady can't do it. Brady can't run, dude. Brady can't run. He has no abilities when it comes to running. Jalen has multiple tools in his toolbox. Brady can't run. They're completely different. Brady has to win from the pocket. He has to. There's no other excuse for Brady. He has to win from the pocket. That's why I think it matters if Mannion is the real deal. If he is, then an answer would be yes. We have the supporting cast. I don't think you do have the supporting cast. Includes making Hurts a better passer. This year is big for me on judging Hurts. Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, listen to this. ESPN has our roster ranked second. That has nothing to do with your fucking offense, guy. Roster. You know what roster means compared to offense? Roster. The entire 53. Outside of Devontae Smith, name me a top 30 wideout. You don't have one. You got a running back and Devontae Smith on that offense. That's it. Wicks is a dude. Hollywood is a dude. Thank you, my friend. You are blowing up players that are okay. If we are going to check downs and short passes, which I'm good with, special teams is going to be critical. Absolutely. Absolutely true. Hey, in my opinion, you better hope you have enough depth on that defense early on in the season because they're going to be on the field a lot. Brady's first 7 years and Hurts' first 7 years is advantage Hurts with the exception of 3 Super Bowls. Hold on. Let me go back to that. And Marcus Mariota in 82 starts has the same exact numbers as Jalen Hurts does. Do you know that? Do you know that Jalen Hurts and Marcus Mariota in 82 starts have the same exact passing stats? Marcus Mariota, who's a journeyman. To be honest, you had fighters like Lennox Lewis that did catch up with Tyson. Yeah, dude, that's the point. They caught up with him and he was finished. Eagles trade a washed AJ, and now we don't have an offense. I'll tell you what, guy. Why are you not believing what people are saying that are out there? Like, what's your problem? So you think you have an offense? If Devontae Smith's not on that field, you're below average. So they had Hurts doing one read and running up the middle clips. What other quarterback does this in the league? Nobody. But that's okay. That makes him unique. People always tripping on our offense. Like, dude, I'm done counting passing yards. If you're not winning, then what the fuck does passing yards mean at the end of the day? Are you going to take it? Hey, Philadelphia, why are you fighting what you're doing in camp? And all the players are saying that they're running a brand new system to try to improve and be more balanced. Why are you fighting that? Why are you? They're completely changing everything they're doing. And you're refusing to believe it. If they believed in win so much, why didn't they just stick with it? And you know what Reyes and you guys will say? They caught up with it. Nobody catches up to getting run over. Nobody's caught up to Derrick Henry. The only thing that's going to catch up with Derrick Henry is Father Time. It won't be any team catching up with Derrick Henry. He's going to be 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns, and he's going to walk in the first ballot Hall of Fame. Nobody's going to catch up with Myles. Hey, you think after 12 years, people got a book on Myles Garrett? How come they haven't caught up with Myles Garrett? Please stop comparing Hurts and Brady. You sound like a moron. The only thing they have in common is their will, desire, competitiveness. That's it. Brady was superior in every category. Sills, the thing to focus on right now is how Hurts handles coaching. If Hurts and Mannion click, Hurts has the toughness to make things happen. It comes down to Hurts trusting what he's being told. Okay, Nick, good enough. They caught up with Hurts' shitty ass. I think Hurts is the same football player he was 4 years ago, except for the limited bit of running. I don't see any different guy. He's the same dude. When Zander talks to John McMullen, he says the same thing. It's Jalen Hurts being Jalen Hurts. Defense wins championships. So we'll be okay with our Jimmies and Joes on offense. Dallas offense was ranked second, and they didn't finish 500. Well, you have the same people back except for, and it's probably a push with, well, Grenard's not even on the field. So right now, the only upgrade you have right now is probably Woolen. What happened last year? Same offense came back. Let me guess. It was the offensive coordinator and AJ's fault. So now you're lesser talented, but you're going to be better. Is that right, I'm Brown? What happened a year ago? Same people. And you had N'Kobe. What happened? Come you didn't win the Super Bowl last year. You got the same offense coming back. Oh. AJ, here we go. Not the quarterback, but it was KP and AJ's fault. Comparing quarterback stats when one has a Pro Bowl skill position group and the other has practice squad players is ridiculous. Yeah. Offense helps your defense by staying on the field. You can't win playing 40 minutes a game. Agreed. So why didn't they trade Hurts this offseason? Why would you? His value isn't going to get higher. Hollywood, I'm not trading that guy. That guy deserves every opportunity to win this football season this year. He deserves every opportunity to have that as his football team. You don't just go 50-18 in the last 4 years and go, hey, fuck, you know what? You had one down year. Well, whatever you want to call it. And sit there and go like this. Well, let's move on. It's not working. Jalen Hurts has to play himself off this team for that decision to be made. And he hasn't done that yet. As a matter of fact, he hasn't even remotely been close to doing that yet. Carson Wentz played himself off the team. Sam Darnold played himself off the Jets. Baker Mayfield played himself off the Browns. Geno played himself off the Seahawks. All those guys played themselves off those respected teams that were given opportunities. Hurts is not in that room. He has not done enough to sit there and go like this. Well, it's time to make a quarterback change. Now, 2026 will change that narrative. Either you're going to move him or you're going to extend him. Plain and simple. Yeah, that was a stupid-ass take by a person saying defense wins championships. Our offense, even when AJ sucked, led the NFL in 3-and-outs. Couldn't pass the ball, and it wasn't all coaching. Came down to player execution. Exactly true. I mean, you know what? Christopher, these guys make it sound like you guys have added new offensive skilled people. The biggest disappointment right now in camp has to be Makai Lemon. They weren't looking for him to replace Devontae at the 2, but they were looking for more than what they're getting so far. And you know what they're getting? Non-participation. That's not to sit here and call him a bust. That's not what we're doing. But if you can't get on the field and you're being counted on to at least carry some of the water and you can't even get on the field, that is a big time problem. I'm not calling him a bust. I'm just saying, kid, you got to get on the fucking field. You know, they're less concerned about Jonathan Grenard than they are Makai Lemon right now. Makai Lemon is losing valuable time in a complex offense that everybody's learning. Everybody's learning. I mean, that thing looks like right now, here, might as well go to it. This guy's fucking hurt again? And now I'm hearing John McMullen, he might not even be a starter. How about this? The way McMullen is talking and watching him at practice, he may not even win the 3rd spot. That's a problem. If that dude can't get on the field and help you pick up some of the water for AJ leaving, that's a huge problem. And then get this. If you get nothing from your 2nd round guy, Hoss, how many times have you seen wide receivers come in and help their football team at least a little in their rookie year? That's a big time problem. Hey, Sills, are you calling him? I want it to be clear. Are you calling Makai Lemon on August 5th a bust? Absolutely not. You see this here? How in God's name can you call a guy a bust when you've never seen him in an NFL game? It's ridiculous. However, you got to get on the freaking practice field. I mean, you got to get out there. How the hell do you know how you're going to use him? How do you know what the hell he can offer to help when it comes to the offense and moving the chains? And the kid's not going to get the benefit of talking to veteran guys because they're implementing a brand new offense. So a new scheme means mistakes. Yes, it's inevitable. That's an issue. If Nick holds to his risk-averse belief, you learn from your mistakes. Can't tighten up when mistakes happen. Here's my problem with that, Bob. You don't have the time you had years past when you could sit around for 3.5 months working on a brand new offense and new terminology. It's why I keep counting the days down. I keep counting the days down because everybody keeps going, hey, it's fucking practice. Well, shit, you only got 7. What is it? You only got 9 more of these before you start playing exhibition ball. And then you're down to single practices. And there's a time limit on that. I mean, you don't have the time you think you're doing. Like, my question, and we're going to get to this next topic here in a minute, but, dude, why do you think I keep counting the days down? You got 39 days to on the calendar to the Commanders. If this run game is top 5 or 7, passing top 10 or 12, defense, I think this Hurts defense is experienced enough in the playoffs, big games, we can win it all. Win it all with Makai Lemon, Dontavian Wicks, and Hollywood Brown. Bro, you don't have enough good offensive football players right now to call yourself a Super Bowl team with that offense. No Lane, no AJ, and Fred Johnson and Hollywood Brown are not replacements. Can you say anything positive? Your word loses credibility. Keep bringing up negative stuff at least. There's nothing positive to talk about except for the fact that Hurts has been throwing over the middle. And if you notice one thing also, what's the one thing we're not bringing up? You bring up shit that you need to work on, guy. What's the one thing that we don't bring up? Anybody in here want to help this glazed donut? Anybody want to help this guy? And I'll hook you up on how coaches talk when they're in the meetings, brother. You know what it is? They talk about shit they need to work on, not shit they're great at. What's the one thing we don't bring up? You know what we don't bring up? How good your defense is going to be, because there's no concerns there. But then again, you wouldn't understand that. We have a problem on drafting offense. Our most impactful players are from outside the organization, AJ and Saquon. Yeah. Well, that's always been a trend. Eagles don't draft great wideouts. Never have. In the last 25 years, Deshaun Jackson, Devontae Smith, and who? We're all pro great wideouts. Hey, who? The rest of them have been good. The Jeremy Maclins of the world. The Jason Avants. Those guys are okay. But in 25 years since 2000, it's been really two. Jeremy Maclin is a good ball player. Let me say this to you, my friend. You're hoping Mekhi Lemon has the same career that Jeremy Maclin has. Or had. What's this? Chargers are installing a similar, if not more complex scheme, and theirs looks fantastic in camp. That's what a lot of folks are saying because of the coordinator and Jim Harbaugh and the quarterback. Rasputin, that's a good pull from you. I've been looking around too on the camps, on new installs, and the Chargers look exceptional. That's why, Rasputin, I'm picking Justin Herbert to be my MVP in 2026. That's actually a good sign. Barkley is the key to everything. He's the key to everything. Sills, only like teams that always fail in the first round of the playoffs, but Herbert throws pretty INTs. Yeah, you're right. Hurts is better than Herbert. Tell you what, AZ. Okay. Hurts is better than Herbert. I think the Eagles are putting a pressure together for Lane's retirement. Didn't Kelsey retire just before the season started last time? I don't remember that. I don't. I don't remember that. Boy, this feels like something's going on with Lane. Like maybe he thought and had second thoughts about it and he retired. Hopefully he's just trying to get his mind right for the upcoming season. I don't want him to retire, for the record. Whoa, cover your ears, Jalenites. Sills brought up Herbert. A legitimate passer of the football. McDaniel won a playoff game with Skylar Moore. I think Herbert has a great shot at the MVP. Thank you, my friend. Mr. Hill. Sills, I heard a report today from ESP said Bigsby is having a good camp. Looks good. I know you said Barkley is the money guy. ESP said he thinks Tank will get 10 reps a game. Your thoughts? If I'm taking reps away from Saquon Barkley, there's a problem with Barkley. Thanks for the jewels. Sills, Herbert is a fraud. Jalen had better numbers than him last year. And that's why McDaniel decided to want to work with him and not Hurts. Did I miss something? We came out to Nick Cady's retiring. No. I asked, do you think he is? That's what I said. Do you think? Herbert outplayed Hurts with a screw in his hand, ran through our defense while Hurts slid and had 6 turnovers. Bro, it's not even a conversation on who the better football player is. It's just not even, stop it. Herbert gained my respect playing with a banged up hand and still running like he didn't give a you bet, and lost both offensive tackles in that game. Shill's tank was very good with limited touches he had last year. He had the burst that Saquon was missing. You better pray that Saquon Barkley comes back and Saquon Barkley looks like Saquon Barkley. Because if he doesn't, it's going to be a rough year, dude. I might have missed how you started this convo. Are you saying Hurts could have a Brady-like trajectory? No. Sills never looks up his stats in the playoffs. That has nothing to do with how people are being evaluated. Does he have to win? Of course he does. But you make it sound like that guy's been throwing to spectacular players. And that the Chargers have a great organization. They don't. They do now with Harbaugh, and it's getting better. Organizations win Super Bowls, guy. One day you'll understand that, but you don't get it. It's been 10 years. They've been talking. Sills, now that you mention it, Harbaugh's running game combined with Mike's passing concepts, the Chargers offense might be able to do some real damage in the AFC. That's a great take by you. Let me take a look at what Harbaugh's running game was last year and see what that running game was. If you get the passing game with Justin Herbert going, let's take a look at a run game. Where would the Chargers rank rushing? The Chargers were 12th. If they can improve that number and get that number, by the way, they had a better running game than the Eagles did. And if they can improve that running, and I don't even know who their running backs are. They don't have Saquon Barkley, and yet they were better. They were 12th in rushing, and let's see, what were they in scoring in red zone? They were third on third. Get this. Here's the difference between the Charger offense and the Eagle offense a year ago. They were third in third down. The Eagles were 25th. Thus, dude, swear he's smart. He shows my comment, then acts like I'm saying something. You are dumb. You are dumb. Herbert will win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years. And Harbaugh is football's Rain Man. I agree. I think I think both. Hey, one thing's evident. You want to win football games? You hire a Harbaugh. You want to win football games? You hire a Harbaugh. Both coaches have been to Super Bowls. One coach got a national championship behind his name, too, and been to a Super Bowl. How many coaches do you think in the NFL history have ever won a national title and taken a team to a Super Bowl? 3? have won at every level. Carroll, Jimmy, Switzer, I guess, Paul Brown. Big Sills. I overheard Rick Dickerson talking about running backs that hit 2,000 yards the following year. They're terrible and they fall off. But the year after, they bounce back. Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson and Saquon Barkley. You want to win football games, you hire Sirianni. I don't think it's a bad thing to get Tank 8 to 10 touches. Keep Saquon fresh. Whew, dude, if I got a running back, you get this. When you're in Baltimore and you got Derrick Henry, I don't want anybody else touching the football. I want Derrick Henry touching the football. Maybe it hurts ain't the exception. I guess to be clear, I'm just lushing back on absolutes. Okay. Let's see here. Long-term effects of Liz Frank injury often include chronic midfoot pain, post-traumatic osteoporosis, and loss of foot strength or flexibility. I don't know if we're there. I don't know. I want to see. I'm going to get to another topic here in a second. Dude, I wrote down even Stephon Diggs. Sales, who else are we going to give the ball to? We can't give Saquon 25 touches and then Smith 6 and Goddard 3. Our best players, after the obvious, maybe Tank. Well, think about that. Drew, that's why I keep asking you. Where are these explosion players? Outside of Devontae Smith, and by the way, because I know that I have to be exact with some of you in here, I have no problem with saying that Devontae Smith is a really good football player. And he is an elite guy. Yes. That's an explosive football player that makes plays. Absolutely. In the passing game, outside of him, who do you got? That's an explosive guy like that. Kind of Goddard? Okay, and then what? You want to spread this ball around? To who? After Goddard, you have no explosion guys. Unless you're talking about getting Barkley involved. Is Barkley going to be your third dude to pick up some of the water because of AJ? Dude, Wicks is a nobody. He's a guy. So let's say Lane does retire unexpectedly. By the way, I'm not saying that. I just said I'm asking the question. What's up? Can Markel Bell handle being the frontside T on an outside zone scheme? Bob, if you're putting a rookie out there and you're losing A.J. Brown and you got no Lane out there, I may have to revamp my 8 wins. Flacco won a playoff game in each of his first 6 seasons. Does that mean he's better than Peyton Manning, who didn't win one his first 6? Rasputin. That's for guys like AZ. Yeah, you're right. He thinks in his world, Joe Flacco's better than Peyton Manning. Because Herbert's 0-3. Oh, and by the way, does anybody want to tell this guy here what Matthew Stafford's playoff record was when he was in Detroit? He was 0-3. I did. But Jay, if you brought in Stephon Diggs to the Eagles, knowing the kind of character that guy is, I would have said this. why didn't you keep AJ or try to make AJ or force AJ to stay here? If you were going to create a nightmare with Diggs signing, I'd rather have AJ's nightmare. At least that dude wants to win. Diggs made no sense for Philly. You don't move off of a productive head case for kind of a productive head case. Like, he's kind of. And I think he's more of an asshole. Steph Hurts is 5 times the player Dart is. That's like saying Hurts is better than Josh Allen. Still, the same excuse can be used against Tom Brady. Example, who's more skilled quarterback, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady? It's not close, Aaron Rodgers. It's not close. Aaron Rodgers is by far more skilled. Brady will tell you that. You wouldn't want him, but he was one of the few options from the free agent market to get him. AJ wasn't going to work because he was fed up. He's been upset, causing issues. Diggs had the same yards last year as AJ. You would never say that AJ Brown. You're not saying, Jay, that Diggs is as good as AJ Brown. Ugh, man, I know you're not saying that. Seals, Bell's third round pick needs to be able to push Fred Johnson out of the way. Yeah, he's got to win that. He's got to win that rotation role. Yes. I don't mind this. I don't mind this. I wouldn't mind DeAndre Hopkins. I wouldn't mind that. Let's see what DeAndre did a year ago. I know he's long in the tooth, and he's on but league minimum. I'm not talking about spending money. That's a player that's been an awesome player. I've always been a freaking huge fan of this guy. He is a great football player. He's just long in the tooth now, and I know that. What is he? He's 34. Dude, look at these years. 1,200, 1,500, 1,500, 1,400, 1,300, 1,200, 1,100, 1,200. And when he was in Houston, from 13 to 19, I think he had, excuse me, I think he had the Sean 18 and 19. Maybe. This guy's got 1,000 catches and almost 14,000 yards. He's on the cusp of a 5-time Pro Bowler. Last year he had 330 yards. Probably nothing there. I don't know. Congrats, Aaron Rodgers is more skilled. Brady's the GOAT by far. Those are two different conversations. Unfortunately, it's going to take a trade to get a player that is young on a contract. Wait a minute. You just drafted a guy in the first round. Jay, you're going to go back and give up another equity pick after drafting 2 wide receivers, theoretically, in the draft just a couple months ago in April? You're going to go and trade guys away? That's not happening. You're not trading for anybody. That's not going to happen. You made your bed. Mekhi Lemon not being, like I said, I'm not calling that kid a bust. And I want to emphasize that. I am not. I haven't seen him play yet. You're the ones who were in here crowning him a spectacular pick when I kept saying pump the brakes. Let's see what the kid does. Keenan Allen, he had almost 800 yards last year. I thought Keenan Allen was back in Los Angeles with the Chargers. Maybe. I'll tell you something, Nad. That Ricky Pearsall kid getting shot when he was drafted out of Florida and now having another injury, I'll tell you what, that kid's in the place of bust as well. You could start making that conversation that Ricky Pearsall's a bust. And you help me out. Wasn't Ricky Pearsall a first-round draft choice? Well, shit, dude. Pearsall's another guy. You got to get on the field, guy. Start talking about Lemon. Okay, maybe. But, dude, Pearsall gets shot his rookie year. Plays pretty decent. Now he's hurt and he's gone for the year. Bro, you got to get out. You got to play. Some people are goofy. Lemon will be fine. Ain't a rookie in the work that would look great in the first camp against this secondary. I'll tell you what. That's another thing. Bro, the offense is struggling. Why wouldn't Lemon struggle more? He's a rookie. Dude, if you got veteran wide receivers having problems in the offense, and these guys know how to read a playbook and know how to prep for a game and know how to prep for practice, and they're struggling, what would make you think Lemon is not going to even – this is what makes it even further behind. You got a new offensive quarterback. Well, you got a new offensive play caller teaching a quarterback a new system, and the quarterback is also learning, and then you got a rookie who can't get on the field. You talk about catastrophic. Pearsall, late first rounder, his drop tackle got him hurt cells. Again, I understand all this, but being on the field is part of the evaluation. Sills, the reason 49ers been not that good, have they drafted anybody besides Purdy the last 4 years that produced? You're talking about the quarterback position. This goes back to the Trey Lance deal, dude. Those 3 ones, they got lesser talent and older talent on the offensive side of the ball because the Trey Lance trade has hurt them because they lost those 3 ones. This is where you're starting to see where the 49ers are getting beat up. Because look at the unit. It's older. Why? Well, they lost 3 ones to Miami. They lost 2 first-round picks, and they took Trey Lance. Those 3 ones probably were going to go to the offensive side of the football to replace a Trey Williams or to replace a George Kittle or to replace a wideout. They weren't able to do that. UR Bernard was going to make the roster anyway. You're telling me because a guy who's not going to be a factor at all in your football team this year, if he makes it, he'll be a DC because of the production that he's done with the players he's producing. To be fair, Seals, DeJean had a hamstring injury like Lemon and didn't play till week 5, so let's pump the brakes. So you think Mekhi Lemon is going to give you the same kind of impact? Even when he was on the field, nobody saw it. It doesn't look the role. But all right. Like I said, I haven't seen him play yet. Calling a guy a bust and he hasn't been on an NFL football field yet? No way. Not here. Some guys practice shitty. And they get, hey, dude, I heard that Derrick Henry's not the greatest practice guy. Okay? I heard Derrick Henry doesn't practice very well. You get him in a football game, he's terrorizing people. Did you think Cooper DeJean was going to give you Cooper? Have at it, Mikey. We'll see. John McMullen's saying he may not even be the third wideout right now. I don't know. I'm talking from business POV. Defense has money invested, and will over the next year or two, that means the offense will have to get younger and cheaper. So we will draft XOL, running back, etc. Don't you remember those drills that we went to? We asked you how and who you're going to replace in the next 2 years on offense. You're going to replace Landon in 2 years. Next 2 years. Replacing Lane in the next 2 years. You're going to be replacing Landon Dickerson in the next 2 years. You're going to be replacing Barkley in the next 2 years. You're going to be replacing Dallas Goedert in the next 2 years. That's a lot of people, dude. And a lot of really good players. And by the way, no down has been played yet. Okay? No down. But in my opinion, when you're installing, listen, I'll tell you what. If you were going to run it back with the same shit you did the last 4 years, 5 years, I don't think there's any concern. But when you're trying to do some completely different bullshit that doesn't fit anybody on the offense, this is kind of a little chaotic. So if you could buy a team with roster, you're taking the Eagles, 500 million void years. I didn't say that. If I'm buying a roster right now, see, the Rams are a roster that's for now, today. Are they a roster over the next 5 years? I'm taking that Bronco, the Texans, and I'm taking that New England roster. Those are young. They were drafting at the bottom of the draft for a couple of years. They've got good coaching. You've got DeMeco Ryans, Mike Vrabel, and Sean Payton. Those are young rosters. Kansas City's old. LA's old. The Eagles on offense are old and weathered. And they've been in a lot of battles. The defense doesn't look. Why do you think the defense is continuing to get better? You know why the defense is continuing to get better? They're young. There's no more upside on the offensive side of the ball. Those are who those guys are. Like, Hollywood Brown's not going to become a better player. Devontae Smith is going to become more polished because of who he is. Goddard's not going to get any better. Lane's not. Mulata's not. Landon's not. Barkley's not. Jalix Hunt is. Carter, Davis are. Campbell are. Q, Cooper, Makuba. All them dudes are young and they're going to get better. The other side of the ball is not. Seals, the offense might be different, but it's still a run-first defensive team that is still going to have Nick's philosophy. Okay? How are you running inside zone repeatedly without a perimeter threat or dominant interior? Teams will stack the box and man up on Smitty. Yes. Listen, and I keep saying this. You know, in 24, when they ran for like 2,800 yards, I can't tell you how many times I said this. You're leaving A.J. Brown one-on-one? Oh, wait, you got to worry about Barkley because Barkley's going to hit his head on the goalpost. And then sure enough, they double him and then Barkley's off to the races. You had that. You had to worry as a coordinator. I'm going to single up A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown singled up in this league. He owns you. And he brought that presence. By the way, Farzetta will join us at the bottom of the hour. We will have also Battle Royale, and then we will have Big Z for a couple minutes because he's got the big show tonight. Here's my beef with Lemon. It's okay to not understand the playbook. Just don't be saying it in public. That's a big red flag for me. That's confidence and processing. Hey, Kim, I'll tell you what. He should not maybe have said that and been honest. That's a young guy's thing. Not understanding when you say something like that, there's going to be narratives like you just made. And I'm not saying you're wrong. Bob Lane probably went to him. Don't tell people you don't know the playbook. Because then they're going to assume you're stupid. And that's not the case. So as I said this on Tuesday, this is the start of a rebuild on offense. Aging line with a suspect quarterback and new scheme. I smell a switch at quarterback incoming. Dude, Jalen Hurts, and I'll say it again, deserves every single opportunity to show people he's the guy that will take the Eagles further. Remember, the money he signed, that's the money that Jalen Hurts has earned. And that contract, he's earned it. That $250 he signed, that's in the past. The Eagles are determining whether or not they're going to give him more money for the next 5 years. Or 4 years, whatever it is. The entire defense will get better, but no one on offense will get better because Sil said so. And when the offense finishes better than it did in 25, then what? Then you're right. Then you're right. We'll see who's right. Okay? I think we are going to win plenty of games. That's where I'm leaning right now. If we come out and run the ball, yeah. Curtis, Barkley's the key. He was being honest. How many know the playbook in their rookie camp like that? I'll tell you, Twiz. It's a really good question. Twiz, sometimes guys retain. I was kind of in the middle of the boat. Okay? I had to do it a couple times in practice. But I'll tell you, that's harder than you think. Okay? I would say it's all depending on the individual. Some guys, dude, look at a playbook. They pick that thing up, and it's like taking the SATs. Some guys just have a knack for it. Some guys don't. Some guys played in that system. Hey, remember something. What's the two things that were in common that Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean had in college? They played the two-eye safety defense in college at Toledo and at Iowa. Their transition was a lot easier because they've been in that scheme and they know what the fundamentals were and they knew what some of the techniques were. It made that transition easier. Seals, if that's the case, then why are there reports in New England Patriots camp that AJ is getting locked? That's not true. Rams standout wide receiver Puka Nacua is entering the final year of his 4-year rookie contract. He hired Wynn Sports Group to represent him in contract negotiations. That's pretty interesting that they're allowing him to go into the season, and they haven't addressed it prior to the year for a guy who led the NFL in receptions last year. I think he did. Either that or it was JSN. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, AJ's killing it in practice and killing it in camp. That guy made that up. Did Lemon not go outside any All American players with pro potential in college? It's a good point. Think about this, Boulevard. Let's see. Uh, did Let me take a look at that. I like that take. 2025 USC. $2,025. So let's see. Played a Big Ten schedule, obviously. Let's see. Missouri State, no. Georgia, no. Purdue, no. Michigan, no. Illinois, no. Michigan, I don't think anybody was drafted in the secondary in the first two rounds. Notre Dame, I don't believe there were a lot of corners that Notre Dame put in the draft this year. Nebraska, no. They didn't play downs. Oregon, maybe. There may have been somebody on those teams. But look at these defenses. Notre Dame was good. Nebraska, Illinois, Michigan State. Oregon, okay. UCLA, no. We'll see. And they got beat by TCU, too. I got to say, the next 3 to 4 years is super exciting. Going to have a new offense, new young players, a new Super Bowl window. I got to stop reading after that. I tend to agree with Johnny Mack more than others, but he lost the plot with this defense of KP. I would be pretty shocked if Mannion isn't an improvement, as long as he remembers Jalen's weakness. But again, Curtis, my complaint on that take is this. Why would you repeat that? Why would you repeat that question going into camp? Why would you go down that lane again? Here, let me get somebody that we're going to have the same question marks going into the year with. Why would you go down that lane again? Let me go get Kellen Moore again. Shit, Kellen Moore got fired. He wasn't a hot prospect. You fired a guy who was fired. You hired a guy who was fired twice in 2 years. Cowboys and Chargers. It's not like you hired the hottest guy. Hurts's key word today was calibrating. I know. I wrote the stuff down here. He said that's what the offense is doing. Trying to put it together. Find out who we are against the defense with a set identity. How can you get an identity when you don't know who your pieces are yet? Seals, why do teams let draft status from years ago outweigh production when it comes to signing or starting players like with Reed or with Darius Cooper? Dude, you know what? That has always been, it's not an Eagle thing. If a guy's a free agent or he's a fourth or fifth or sixth rounder, the guys in front of him will always get more reps and a better look. You know why? Their jobs are on the line. If you've got 2 or 3 scouts in the building that were so high on Eli Stowers, and you got another guy who's outplaying him, you know what is still going to be said in the room? You got to keep giving Stowers the ball because their reputations are on the line. Instead of letting the coaches be the coaches, that's what Vic does. Vic doesn't give a shit if Bryce Huff got a $17.5 million contract. He just cares who's good. That's probably why Vic rubs people the wrong way, is that he's going to play the best guy. Whether he's a $25 million guy or whether the guy is a $2.5 million guy. He's just going to play the better player. I can't tell you how that rubs front offices bad. You know, you want to work with the front office as much as possible. And that's why my big problem with Howie having control of the roster on Sundays is, well, just because Howie wants to see that guy up there on the field, Does that coach really believe he's the best guy to be out there? I don't believe Howie Roseman knows more defensive football than Vic Fangio. I would never believe that in a billion years. I wouldn't ever go down that lane. If Vic said, I think this guy's better, I'll tell you what, if I was a defensive football player and I kept hearing my name, and I kept hearing my name being mentioned, and I kept hearing this, boy, I'll tell you what, I like this Michael Carter. I really like this Michael Carter, man. I feel comfortable putting him in the slot, and I feel pretty comfortable with him, like, on third down. I like him. I'll tell you what, man, that's pretty good that's a pretty good conversation. By the way, I would also feel this. Arnold Epicady, this kid, he's talking about him, and he's also talking about the other guy on the other side. AJ Epineza. You're hearing those two guys being talked about more than you're hearing, what was his name? Joshua Uche and the other guy from a year ago? Tell you what, man, there's no question that the defensive football team right now is in a position where, guess what? They're elevating. You know why they're elevating, in my opinion? They're elevating because they're getting younger. And they're younger on that side of the ball. There's so many more guys on that side of the football. They got way more room to grow. Dude, every time I talk to somebody, you know what I hear? Have you seen Jalix Hunt? And here, before we go to Farzetta, I want to make this very clear here. I am not on August 5th calling Makai Lemon a bust like some of you guys are. This guy hasn't played an NFL down yet. However, when you're not on the football field, and every single time I hear his name mentioned, I hear injury, that's not good. And I'm also going to start, when we get Farzy up here, hey, look, I'm not saying this is happening. But what I am asking the question, this is the fourth straight day for Lane Johnson not being out there. You think he's contemplating retiring? And he's had second thoughts? He's had mental health, and he's 36. I mean, if it was a rest day, they would have said it was a Veterans Day. Like they did with Landon Dickerson today. All right. Man, there's a lot going on here. And boy, I'll tell you what, every single time I hear people like Gary Cobb or John McMullen that are out there at camp, it's quite a struggle out there for this offense. Without further ado, let's bring our guy in here. Let's bring Farzy in here. How you doing, Farzy?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. I'm just now reminiscing about my days as the producer for JAKIB in the late nights at WIP. That was a good time back in the day.
You know what he's been saying? He's been saying that this offense has been struggling here. But before we get to that, Farzy, what do you make of this Makai Lemon? What do you make of the situation that's going on with him right now?
So let's see. You got a guy that bases a lot of what he does on speed, on quickness, and now you're talking about the possibility of a hamstring injury. They are going to be super uber cautious about this. That's all it is. They're not going to rush him through anything. This is exactly – they're going to handle him with kid gloves, essentially. So that's what I make of Makai Lemon and a hamstring injury early in camp.
You know, John McMullen has been saying, and seeing him out there at camp says that right now – he'll be lucky to start at the 3-hole. If that ends up happening, what's your takeaway on that, if that goes down that way?
Well, if that's the way it goes, then I would assume Dontavian Wicks, who they acquired for a nice price. I would assume Marquise Brown, a guy that they brought in here, a veteran. I would assume that they have done well, whereas the rookie might still be trying to pick up from lost time during camp. But let's not make any bones about it. I want him as the number 3 guy. I want him as the number 2 guy. If he's not 1 or 3, I think it is a failure in the early goings. But he will have time to grow. He will have time to acclimate to the NFL. If it doesn't happen out of the gate, I'll be disappointed. But as you were saying a moment ago, I don't think it in any way, shape, or form means that he's a bust. They did acquire veterans this offseason. Yes, they lost A.J. Brown, but they did acquire veterans that I know they have some faith in, to say the absolute least. And they'd like to see Mekhi Lemon obviously break into, at the very least, the top 3 wide receiver on this team.
What's Eli Stowers' role going to be?
I think he is what Dallas Goedert's supposed to be. Dallas Goedert's pay cuts as time has gone on, despite production, has not made sense to me now over the last 2 years. So I think they look at Eli Stowers as the number 1 pass-catching tight end, Dallas Goedert to be the number 2, albeit maybe a close second number 2, and then I think they're going to look at a guy like Johnny Munt to be the guy that throws his weight around as a blocking tight end, a guy who Sean Mannion's actually played with in the NFL and has a completion to, believe it or not. But when I look at Stowers, I see a guy that is going to be their number 1 tight end as far as the passing game goes, while Dallas Goedert digs deep maybe to go back to the blocking tight end that he once was while still catching passes, and then Johnny Munt obviously being that number 3 guy. But I think Stowers is going to lead the tight end group in receptions. I think Goddard's going to be behind him. Going to be close, but going to be behind him. And then, obviously, as I mentioned already, you have Johnny Munt looking to be a blocking tight end that the Eagles were really without throughout last season, especially in time where you maybe didn't see Dallas Goedert out there at all. And even when Dallas Goedert was out there, he took a big step back in terms of being a blocking tight end. He had been a great blocking tight end. For whatever reason this time around, that just didn't come to fruition. Last year, I mean. But I think Stowers is going to be using every ounce of athleticism that you saw him at the college level. Certainly he put on full display in the combine with setting the vertical record for a tight end. So I think they're going to use all of that to make him the number 1 guy when it comes to the passing game.
Farsi, a lot of people are saying that the offense is up and down a lot this camp so far. And here's my take. When people say, well, it's early. Well, you only have 15 of these. I mean, you don't have
yeah, you're a third of the way done.
You don't have 39 camp practices. You've got 15 to 18. They had 18 last year. And, I mean, and you got 39 days until the Commander game to get all this installed. Jalen says they're still installing as of today, which sounds right. What's your take on that? I mean, do you believe? And I posted this, and I don't know. And again, whatever people want to say to this and how I posted it, you think they're going to look back on this and regret not having worked out A.J. Brown and his situation by the end of the year? Or do you think, you really believe they're going to be in a better place in the passing game by the end of the year without A.J. Brown? Unless
a better place, no. Are you saying work out the offense without A.J. Brown, or work it out like keep A.J. Brown in Philadelphia?
I'm saying, how do you not try to work that out and keep him versus giving up and having dudes to try to install a new pass game when, I mean, dude, you're not better. When you have A.J. Brown and Devontae, dude, Devontae is Devontae. I'm not concerned at all about that guy. Devontae and A.J. and even Jahan Dotson, if you want to go in there with that threesome. Now you're going with Devontae, Wicks, and I'm assuming Lemon.
Yeah.
That is a far cry from what you've been the last 4 years.
So, as far as the idea of A.J. Brown still being here or not and working out with him specifically, was never going to happen. Here's what I learned the second he went to the Patriots, the second it became known. Unfortunately, Nick Sirianni couldn't become Mike Vrabel. Jalen Hurts couldn't become Drake May. The Eagles could not become the Patriots. He is a fanboy Patriot who loves Mike Vrabel and wants to increase his stats for his legacy. He has every right to do it. He's the best long-term I've ever seen in the Philadelphia Eagles uniform, be a wide receiver. He has won a championship. Last year, you saw him give up on play after play. He didn't want to be here. The reason A.J. Brown is not in Philadelphia is because of A.J. Brown. That's it. He wanted to be wearing the jersey of the team he grew up with and loved. So I don't hold anything against the Eagles in any way that could have handled that different. As far as replacing the production, maybe not have a head coach who needs to call on 2 other head coaches' system and philosophy. Maybe have a head coach that that doesn't just have some secret sauce he uses to motivate the team, but actually has a philosophy of his own, an offense of his own. I mean, if you're hiring an offensive-minded head coach, you'd like to see him have his own philosophy instead of tapping into so many others where he's like, maybe we run an RPO. Oh, wow, brilliant. You know what I mean? Maybe we hand it to Saquon Barkley behind a great offensive line. Oh, that's a genius move. Thank you. I think the cracks in the overall coaching style of Nick Sirianni could show in the very early goings of this season, and I'm hoping they don't go on throughout the entire season. Because if this doesn't work with Sean Mannion, a guy who, by the way, we've talked about this before, we've talked about Kevin Patullo not having a whole lot of experience. We've obviously talked about Brian Johnson not having any experience. And then all of a sudden they're calling plays for this offense. And at the end of this past year, we say Brian Dable, Mike McDaniels, and some other guys with a whole lot of experience. And the Eagles, instead of that, go, wait a minute, hold on. Instead of more experience, what about less experience? And they go to a guy, and Sean Mannion, who's been a coach for 20 minutes in the NFL. So this could absolutely crash and burn. This could absolutely be terrible. However, if you're looking for justified optimism, I think you look at the offensive line first and foremost, who are flat out excited about not only Sean Mannion, but Chris Cooper. And if you're talking about moving on from the sainted dean of Stoutland University, Jeff Stoutland, and you're looking at his graduates just being all sorts of excited about what Chris Cooper's bringing, what Sean Mannion's bringing, I don't think they're doing that blindly. They have every right to be pissed off, to be sour grapes, but they seem to be the most excited about what this offense could do. So when it comes to overall replacing the production of A.J. Brown and what this offense could do, whether or not it's going to be successful without him, you still call on the talent here. You mentioned Devontae Smith. You still talk about Jalen Hurts. You talk about Saquon Barkley. You talk about the offensive line as a whole, Eli Stowers and the veterans that they brought in. It is possible if you're talking about spreading the ball around. I don't see one person replacing A.J. Brown's production. I see Devontae Smith becoming the official number one guy, and then I see a bunch of 2s and 3s, but not that 1B that we talked about with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown when A.J. Brown was here.
Do you think that's a Super Bowl caliber offense?
Talent-wise, yes. I do think it's a Super Bowl contending caliber offense. But the scheme is a lot. We learned that last year it can, similar to 2023, all of a sudden the scheme gets cracked.
You think Mannion's asking for too much change?
I think the Eagles are asking for too much change. I think the Eagles are looking at Sean Mannion and going, oh, he's a whiz kid. He can install this and whip this offense into shape so they don't have a lull in the second half like they did against the Bucs where they didn't have a completion, or they did it against the Bills where they didn't have a completion in the second half of both those games. I find it very interesting and not encouraging that you're tapping on a guy who has not done this before when you're replacing a guy who hadn't done this before. But when I listening to the offensive line, listening to Jalen Hurts, and a little bit listening to Sean Mannion, but a lot of that you could file under, well, what's he going to say? It's his neck on the line here, right? What he talks about is the retention. And what he's impressed by is the retention from installs, the early days in OTAs and whatever it might be, bringing in guys or bringing the guys back to training camp, back to the facility, saying they have really between the ears from what we have gone over in OTAs. That there's really not a whole lot of reintroducing, going over things from 6 weeks ago. Everyone's coming in having cracked open the books, studied hard, and they're picking up from where they left off at OTAs.
I'm having Mike Quick on tomorrow, and I'm gonna ask Mike this question, and I'm gonna end the AJ stuff here with you. You think A.J. Brown has been the greatest wide receiver in the Super Bowl era for this team?
When you combine accomplishment and longevity, absolutely. To me, if I could put together anyone who's ever played for the Eagles and just they wore a jersey, it's T.O. He's still the best, like the most talented, the best guy ever. It's Terrell Owens. But when you consider longevity and accomplishment, that's where A.J. Brown certainly comes in. It's also, it's just such a different era. I hate comparing eras, but from what I have experienced in my lifetime, T.O. is the best I've ever seen do it. The greatest would be A.J. Brown.
I agree. 5 years, 2 NFC championships, plus the yardage and all the winning that they had. It is truly one of the greatest eras. I would put this in that conversation with T.O. And probably the Super Bowl era, the greatest offensive players that the Eagles have ever had on a field in a uniform. Well, you can make the argument Terrell Owens is top 3. Outside non-quarterback, take the quarterbacks out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, Shady, Westbrook, Deshaun Jackson. I think T.O.'s better than that. And I think Deshaun was a spectacular, like, all-around special teams kind of player. I mean, but you can make the argument that in the Super Bowl era, Owens and A.J. are, like, outside the quarterback conversation, your 2 best offensive football players that they've ever had.
I 1,000% agree. I mean, the first time in my life growing up in a market like Philadelphia where we're doomed forever, it was the first time one acquisition was made in my lifetime. I mean, I was born after Pete Rose became a Philly, but it was the first time I ever remember everyone going, call me when we're in the championship. Call me when we're in the Super Bowl. Lockdown, no problem. It was the most confident I had ever heard a fan base in the city of Philadelphia.
You think Smitty could get in that group?
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely do. I think Devontae Smith can get in that group, especially. I mean, look, it's going to be easier to replace the number 1 wide receiver with a guy who was right behind the number 1 wide receiver. The bigger problem is going to be replacing that number 2 guy, and obviously that was Devontae Smith last year. Devontae Smith, if you can even, would you call it a shadow? Let's call it a shadow for the time being. The shadow of A.J. Brown. Can he be that number 1 guy? Does he need to have another number 1 caliber guy next to him to look as good as he has in the start of his NFL career? Well, he can go out there and he could solidify that. I think when you're looking at production, you're looking at what you can do with this offense in the not-too-distant future, keeping the offensive line healthy and giving Jalen Hurts time, obviously, then yes, I think Devontae Smith can absolutely do that. Plus, I would very much doubt, as his career goes on, that you're going to have another quarterback like Jalen Hurts immediately after, where you're looking at not just compiling stats, but how to, the best route to winning a game, whether that's with the run game, leaning on a guy like Saquon, whatever it might be. I think you're going to have another guy come in here down the line, not next year, not the year after, but down the line in Devontae Smith's career, that is going to be distributing that football, looking for wide receivers more so than maybe tight ends or running backs.
What do you make of what's going on with Lane? And Farzy, I'm not saying, and by the way, I am not going, hey, I believe he's retiring. Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is, okay, so he's not there again. I think Nick speaks Friday. And I know he's had mental health. He's 36. I think everything's open for interpretation when the Eagles aren't telling you anything. When they say it's non-injury related. Okay, hey, I'm hoping he's just trying to get his mind right. He's getting ready for the upcoming 2026 season. You do have to ask the question. You think he's having second thoughts potentially on retiring?
I don't think it's about retiring. It's really interesting
More
to me.
More mental health, you think?
So again, like you just said, you don't want to speculate, but this is where I do look at the Philadelphia Eagles and I think, what the hell are you guys doing?
Yeah.
You know where people's minds are going to wander here. Like, hell, tell me he stubbed his toe back,
right.
Like something. The thing to me that I find so wild is that he was the first one of the offensive linemen to go out and do an interview after Jeff Stoutland got after Jeff Stoutland stepped away officially, right? But last year was pushed aside. So they said, hey, you want to stick around in some capacity? He's like, go to hell. So Lane Johnson did the interview. I forget who he was on with. It was Ryan Fitzpatrick and Whitlock. What's the offensive line from the Rams? I'm blanking on his name. But he goes on his other podcast.
The guy on the Prime Video. I forget his first name. Yeah. Is it Jason?
Jason Whitlock, maybe.
No. I don't think I can't remember the first name. I just right. But
I'm
he played
blanking.
off. What was he? 20 years. He played for.
Yeah,
was it
he
Whitmore?
forever.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so he was on with him.
So, and he talked about how excited he was to do less. Like in this new offense with Chris Cooper, he was going to have guard help. He was going to be out on that island as he had always been earlier in the offseason or later in the offseason after that interview. He talked about how he
Andrew Whitmore. Andrew
Whitmore. Whitworth.
Whitworth.
Well, everyone knows who we're talking about. They have Google. Anyway, he talked about how he had never had guard help in his career, and he was excited. Like I've said this a couple times. I might have even said this with you. Lane Johnson literally said in his last interview of OTAs when he was talking about offensive line and the new scheme and Chris Cooper, I'm going to have guard help for the first time in my career. And I quote, me likey. Like, that doesn't sound like a guy who's ready to step out the door in retirement. So I find it very troubling that the Eagles aren't giving any more info, and the fact that there's no info, like his ankle hurts, his knees bothering him, his shoulder hurts, just something like that makes you think the worst, where you could be thinking about retirement, you could be thinking about things that have bothered him in the past, hurt him in the past, coming back to rear their ugly heads again. You don't want to let your mind wander, but if he's not there, how does one help themselves from wondering what could be wrong?
So Jonathan Grenard has played one full season in his 6 years. And the rest of them, he's missed about 25 games in those 6 years. Are you concerned on him?
Yes. I was concerned when they got him. I looked at it, I was like, right. And then I got more concerned because of the injury history, obviously, what they were trying to replace and losing out on Jordan Phillips, obviously. Or Jalen Phillips, excuse me. What was wild to me was when he first talked to the media, he was referring to all the other guys on the team, referring to him as Unc. And I know that's a term of endearment, but it also means you old. So I didn't like that. And then, of course, it comes out that he's going to be starting out the season, or the training camp on the pup with a peck. And that is not trending in the right direction for a guy I already thought was a little long in the tooth, a little past his prime already. So that has only compounded my concern about what Jonathan Grenard can bring out here. And then you also hear from Vic Fangio earlier today talking about this defense and how the edge rushers are taking full advantage of every rep they get in the absence of Jonathan Grenard. And it's like, I know Vic Fangio is the farthest one from a BS salesman, you know what I mean? But when he started just kind of banging that drum a little bit, yeah, this is interesting.
I got to tell you, man. Hey, man, Vic Fangio, this defense is continuing to get better and better and better. And how about this one, too? At the end of the day, dude, I mean, the guy that I'm hearing the most and where people are most impressed with is Jalix Hunt. I mean, you know, you talk about a guy taking advantage of his opportunities. I'm going to make a prediction here. I think this guy's going to. What do you do with him at the end of the year, Farzy? If this guy has 12 to 15 sacks, 12 to 13 sacks, he's eligible for a contract extension. Yeah. What do you do with him? Would you rather sign a Moro Ajomo at the end of the year? Or would you rather sign Jalix Hunt at the end of the year?
You need somebody that can get after. And I like Moro Ajomo a lot. He'll probably end up somewhere else, and he'll sign a nice big contract. He's probably the next Milton Williams. But how much money are you going to pay your defensive tackles? At some point, you have to have your young, up-and-coming, defensive end, edge rusher, in other words, get rewarded as well. And I know that Howie said during his press conference to start off training camp, everybody that's here now, every young player that's here now that we've drafted, we've groomed along, we've brought along, I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that they stay here. Well, I think Jalix Hunt is going to be, if it is the year you're talking about, double-digit sacks, gets around 15 sacks, whatever. You're talking about a guy coming up there that a lot of people are going to be talking about in the same kind of conversation as they were Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, when it comes to the young guys on this defense that you'd like to keep on this defense for the foreseeable future.
Man, I got to tell you, I mean, there is no doubt, that this defense is just. What are you expecting from them, Farzy? Is this a top 5 defense, a top 10 defense? Do you believe they'll be in that? Now, I think this has got a lot to do with the offense. If the offense doesn't improve 3 and outs, dude, end of the day, you're still going to be having issues. How good can they be?
So I'm going to go ahead and do what Vic Fangio can't do. And what Vic Fangio can't do is tell everyone that the offense sucked last year when it came to 3 and outs, and that their defense was on the football field on a quick turnaround time and time again. And I'm going to acknowledge that because I know Vic Fangio can't. If the offense actually clicks, if the offense actually works, and if the offense can actually sustain drives, then guess what? Your defense is going to be a lot better in that second half. They're going to be a lot better late in the first half because they're not on the damn football field for as long. I absolutely think that had a lot to do with that second half falter. You saw the offense. You saw the offenses, opposing offenses, be able to run the football more and be able to just kind of run it down the throat. You saw guys like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis start to get winded. Even Zach Bond. Like it was something they were able to take advantage of against this defense because they were out on the football field for so long in the second half. I talked about not having a completion against the Bucs and the Bills. That defense is out there even more in that second half because of that. You can't move the football at all. This defense I see still being a top 5 defense going forward. I love the addition of Reek Woolen. I love the idea of Cooper DeJean staying on the football field, but now in another capacity, being a safety while still also being a nickel. Last year you had to go through that Jacorian Bennett, Adoree Jackson, Keely Ringo rotation on the outside with Cooper DeJean as well. You're not going to have to do that this year. And what I really love is a lot of people just wanted to give Nakobe Dean's job to Jahad Campbell. Jahad Campbell is getting some push from Jeremiah Trotter Jr. At camp now. Keep that competition coming for these guys. And you know who's going to just keep on fanning that flame? You know it. It's Vic Fangio. You think you got this? I don't know. He's pretty good over there. You might want to hustle up a little bit. I absolutely love that. So yeah, I do think I have high hopes and expectations for this Eagles defense.
You got a problem, you know that, don't you?
What happened?
Well, the Eagles are going to have a big problem coming up. What are you going to do at the end of the year with Clint Hurt when people come sniffing around for that guy? Here, I added this up, Farzy. All right. With all the guys that in the last 2 years since he's been the defensive line coach, and with the guys' money that's coming up, it's basically coming up to around $600 million worth of contracts. Dude, look at what he's done for Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Milton Williams. Look at what he did for Jalen Phillips. Look at what he did for all these guys. Got a contract extension for Nolan Smith. Bro, what do you do with that? How do you keep him on your football team? Don't you want him to be the heir apparent?
Yes, absolutely. But if Fangio is telling you he's reverse aging and he's going to stick around here for the foreseeable future, he might have another 2 years in him, whatever. I could see a world where Clint Hurt agrees to stick around for another year. I could see a world where he might be willing to wait 1 more year under Fangio, knowing that the next year he's going to get the gig. He's going to be the Eagles defensive coordinator. I could see a world where that happens. I still don't think it's likely because the old, bird in hand is worth 2 in the bush kind of thing. If another team is willing to give you that job, you're going to take that job. He has done a phenomenal job. I mean, you just look at a guy like Uar Bernard, for instance. He's coming here. He's never played before, but he's talking about Clint Hurt like a father figure already, that kind of thing. You talk about a lot of guys like Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter who really talk about not just Vic Fangio riding them to make sure that they get the absolute best out of them, but a guy like Clint Hurt. I'll go back to this. On the in-season Hard Knocks last year, Clint Hurt calling Jordan Davis, you big MFing Care Bear. Like that, you don't do that unless you have a good rapport with these players and they know everything's coming from a good place, even if you're just busting chops. He would be a huge loss. He'd be a huge loss for this Eagles team. If there's a way where Fangio says, you know what, all right, last hurrah, this upcoming season or next year, whatever, Clint, when I'm done, everything the light touches is your kingdom, and they officially pass that over, then I think the Eagles will be in a great spot, but it's going to be really hard because a lot of other teams are going to be interested. And I will say, I'm very surprised that after Christian Parker went to the Dallas Cowboys and Clint Hurtt had a conversation elsewhere, I think it was either Tampa or Miami. I think it was down in Florida. That just went away quick. It wasn't other people banging down his door to try to be a DC. That I'm a little surprised by.
So, Farzy, in closing here, you about ready to give the Eastern Conference trophy to the 76ers and LeBron and the guys? Are you ready? Are you ready to hand that? Are you ready? Are you know, Angelo, I had him on like a week ago, and he said he was going to put his grumpiness and his grump face to the side over here, and he, you know, and Eskin's like, oh, it's going to suck. And I'm like, you know, I'm probably thinking it's going to be somewhere in the middle. You know, so one guy thinks it's going to be kind of like a Rocky. Another guy thinks it's going to stink. How do you think this whole thing's going to play out with them? I'll tell you what. It's going to be content, and it's going to be entertaining. I can't wait to see what this thing looks like. And really, the Sixers have been – this makes the Sixers relevant for the first time since Iverson.
Yeah. Well, I'll argue this. In terms of relevant to being a contender, absolutely. Relevant in terms like the Sixers have given us plenty to talk about over the last 10 years. Unfortunately, as I say it about the Phillies as well, a lot of over-promising and extreme under-delivering. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So here's how I see the Sixers can go on right now. They're not going to win 60 games. I don't think they win 55 games. I think they win right around 50, 52 games. I don't think they crack open 55. Joel Embiid's going to play maybe 40 games on a
40.
Maybe. That'll be kind of the lucky spot, half the season.
Farzy, he hasn't played past 39 games in 3 years. Yeah. And you don't think he's going to, man, you're right. They're not going to win. They'll be lucky to win 50 ball games.
Right. And LeBron James is going to get load management too. You know what I mean? You're going to be seeing.
Oh, so this is all about the playoffs.
Here, let me tell you, I don't know if there's a thing that is depreciated in terms of sports fandom more so than a regular season for the 76ers. It doesn't matter. They've been a number 1 seed. They've been a play-in tournament team that's made the playoffs. Like, it doesn't matter, okay? The regular season is there for sheer entertainment, which, yes, this year it will be entertaining. You're going to see games where you're going to go, wow, this team, Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, 2 of the top 5 scorers in the NBA. Throw in one of the greatest ever and LeBron James to ever do it. Oh, my God, this is amazing. But it's not. It ain't going to be about that. It's going to be about the playoffs. It's going to be all about the playoffs, and that's where I do see this team being a true title contender. I thought they went from a contender with when they got Jaylen Brown to really flirting with the idea of being a favorite. The key in all of it, though, no matter how you look at it, it's still the first time they're all together, and it's very rare that those teams that are just figuring it out for the first year figure it out enough to the point of winning a championship. Talent and talent alone, that's possible. But when you weigh in the injury history of Joel Embiid, not being able to play, and forget about back-to-backs, can't play in every others, which is going to be a new term I coined this year, every others. Forget about back-to-back every other day. He can't play. That's what happened in that Knicks series, unfortunately. So there's a lot of things to look at there that we got to hope the Sixers can push through in order to become a true title contender.
Everyone crying and bitching about the Dodgers and what they did with Scooble. Well, the Yankees have been doing that since 1923, buying players and buying championships. You think the Dodgers are good for baseball?
No, the hell no, absolutely not. They should probably blow up the team. They should probably sell the Dodgers, actually, and just dismantle them.
Hey, wait a minute, Forrest. Don't hate the player, hate the game, right?
Yeah, no, I get it. Here's what I hate about it, though. A 28-year-old, pitcher, they didn't give up a haul in that draft. Another guy coming off Tommy John surgery. They weren't even their top. Andrew Friedman has way more talent on the farm system. They gave up like their C and B minus guys to get the guy Scooble in there, and then the Cubs beat him up last night.
How did you land on that guy?
I honestly, I think it just came down to the simple fact he wanted to be there and told every
Yeah.
other team, "I'm going to suck for
Yeah.
you. I want to go to the Dodgers." I think that was a little behind the scenes conversation, maybe, because I mean, nothing else really makes all that much sense. Plus, the Dodgers would have been able to get him in the offseason anyway, considering he wanted to go there. But I did have a smile across my face when I watched him get hit by the Cubs last night, and then I saw Luis Arraez driving 2 for the Phillies right out of the gate. So there you go.
There you go. Farzy, I can't wait, man. This is going to be one hell of a season for the Eagles this year. I cannot wait to see how this thing plays out. Hey, do you believe they should play in the preseason?
I do. You're talking about installing a new offense, and as you already pointed out, you're barely practicing. What do we? The Mekhi Lemon, for instance, might not even be playing for however long with a hamstring injury. Get him some run, man. Get him some run. I'm not always for it, but I think in a new install, I think you got to get him out there to run around a little bit.
My Fratello, I appreciate you very much coming in here, man. Thank you so much. Like I said, man, I can't wait to see how this thing looks here. What do we got? Baltimore, the first one? That's like the 15th, right?
Yeah, that's coming up real fast.
Yeah. Dude, 39 days how about this? 39 days until the Commanders. 39 days.
That's wild, man. And also, I don't know if it was my mic or what the hell happened, but apparently there's a massive echo, and I apologize.
Yeah, I don't know either, man. I'm all good here. I hear you perfectly.
As long
as I hear you, man, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know,
I hear me back to me, and I think I sound great. Man, that's amazing.
I hear me, and I hear. Hey, I'll tell you what. I hear me, and I'm pretty good here. And how in God's name? I'll leave it alone. I'll leave John Marks alone, and that's all I'll say here. I mean, I actually like John Marks, so
John's awesome.
Yeah, John's an awesome guy. So congratulations to him over there on the Fanatics, on getting that morning show. I sent him a text message too. I like him a lot. I really do.
Great dude.
Yeah, great dude. My friend, you're a great dude for doing this all the time. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. All right, brother. See ya.
You got it, man. That is Mark Farsetti. I actually like John Marks, and I sent him over a text congratulating him on getting the 97.5, the Fanatic Morning Show. And that's going to be quite a challenge for him, but all good. Appreciate it. By the way, I do want to throw this out before we get to Battle Royale. Hey, I got to tell you, Kim, my mic, I'm good. I don't know. It's probably StreamYard. There's nothing I can do. Volume's up high. Let's see here. I got everything going on here. Nothing's down. Volume's up high. I got it as high as I can get it. How you doing? Monday to Friday. 2 to 6. How you doing? So we'll have Battle Royale. Hopefully that thing goes a little bit better, and maybe it was Farzi's mic. So we'll see here. Is the volume green buttons all the way on the microphone? Let's see here. There's one, and I got one left. Is that better? I mean, yeah. They're all up. All the green buttons on the mic. There you go. Hey, Zander's trying to fix the mic, and I'm trying to figure out the mic is issue 2. Is it low? It was on. What does that mean? Don't tell me I fixed it. You're fine now. Oh. Maybe it was Big Cells then. Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. Maybe it was Big Cells. Sean Mannion. Let's get to this guy next. Okay? Damn. I should have. Okay, now I know what to do. Thank you, Z. Much better? Holy shit. Wait a minute. I could do one more, or should I touch it? Should I not touch it? Your old man Cells. I don't think it's got anything to do with being old, dude. It's got everything to do being like, hands down, old man. Hey, don't touch. Zander just said, don't fucking touch nothing. Oh, my God. We're having fun. Are you kidding me? No worries. I love Darth Vader voice. It made me laugh for the first time.
Luke, feel the force of Sean Mannion. Feel the force. We will have a new passing game. We will feel the force.
40 years of broadcasting, still can't work a microphone. It's pretty true, unfortunately.
Feel the force. Sean Mannion blows. Feel the force.
How you doing? Miami didn't have an AV class when Sills was playing. What's that? Yeah. Kimbo, two things you don't let Sills go: your microphone and fire. My husband would say the same thing. Oh my God, that's right. Microphone and fire. I'm not allowed near it. I'm not allowed near it. Sills, Mekhi Rager hurt again. No. Is Mekhi Rager hurt again? Oh my God. There's the new one. Mekhi Rager. Wait, we had AJ Owens, and now we got Mekhi Rager. Oh no. Are we gonna have to start calling him Mekhi Rager? Hold on here. Mekhi Rager. Oh my God. Sills, did you play with Clint Hurt? No. He wore my number 93, and all the guys who wear the numbers of guys in the past. It's always really a cool thing. These guys all call, like if you want to wear Jerome's 98, or if you want to wear Stubbs' 96, or if you want to wear Wolfwork's 74. All those guys call and like, hey, I want to wear the number and all this and that. Clint called me. It was pretty cool. Okay. How about Toad Lemon? Okay. Come on, Dan. Give Mekhi a chance. I am. It's August 5th, Sue. Don't get your panties in a bind. We're all good here. No, it's only when you have a guest. When you're by yourself, it goes back to loud, being good, whatever happened. Okay. So we'll see when we get these guys back on again. But we got, seemingly is all right. All right. So let's go to this other topic here before we get the fellas on at the bottom of the hour. By the way, hit the like button. Appreciate you guys. Is Sean Mannion asking these guys to do too much? Is Nick Sirianni actually asking these guys too much? Are they making too radical of changes? It's one thing to move off of A.J. Brown. So you're moving off of A.J. Brown and you're changing the offensive passing attack. Why wouldn't you have done this gradually? Why does it have to be new language, new formations? Why does it have to be all this? I mean, why couldn't you have done it a little bit more systematically? You know, I mean, why not? You've had success in the last 5 years. If the Chargers can do it, why can't the Eagles? It's not a team full of rookies because your quarterback doesn't have the skill of Justin Herbert. And your coaching staff doesn't have the skill of Jim Harbaugh and Mike McDaniel. What are you missing from that? Rasputin, look at what you're saying. Mike McDaniel, Jim Harbaugh, and Justin Herbert versus Sean Mannion, Nick Sirianni, and Jalen Hurts. We're talking about completely different skilled guys. Chargers have not one shit. Bro, John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh is a better coach than Nick. This guy is a better coach. There's nowhere he's not coached and hasn't won. I don't know what to tell you. And McDaniel is one of the best. You wanted Mike McDaniel, and he said no. Let's see here. Guys, seriously, go on and look at the roster of the Chargers, and the depth is insane. Yeah, well, look at what Jim had to do when he got there. He took over for Brandon Staley. Remember something. What have the Chargers done in like 35 years? What have they done? Nothing. They've wasted Hall of Fame quarterbacks. They got to the Super Bowl with Stan Humphries and not Dan Fouts and Phillip Rivers. They've never really won anything. Sills, do you think Darnold is a better player than Purdy? I think they're pretty compatible. Both guys spread the ball around. Both guys are very good at spreading the ball around. I think both quarterbacks are pretty similar. Darnold is a bigger dude. I drop 100 on the Chargers having the number one offense in the league if sports gambling was legal here. All Howie Roseman cared defensive line and offensive line. I can't go wrong there, dude. Nick got to a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts on Nick's second year. We should see Herbert in the Super Bowl this year then, right? I don't know. Bro, Herbert's a better player. John's a better coach, or Jim's a better coach. Jim has complete control of the organization. He runs the personnel. He hires all the coaches. He hires the scheme. And even Mike McDaniel wanted to work with Jim Harbaugh. I mean, Jim is the number. The general manager works with Jim Harbaugh. Jim makes all personnel decisions. He's Howie Roseman and a head coach wrapped up in one. That's why they fired Tom Telesco. And let me see. What's he done since he's been there? Let's see here. And he's turning it around. Look, I like the Chargers. I got a great email the other day from John Spanos. We were talking about Billy Ray. And I love the fact that they put 54 on the helmets. I thought that was pretty cool that they put 54 on the helmets for the training camp. What's he done here for his first 2 years there? What makes Jim so good? So he took over this University of San Diego program that has no scholarships. He went 7-4 the first year. Then he went 11-1, 11-1. He was 29-6. Then he went to Stanford Cardinal football, which never wins. They went 4-8, 5-7, 8-5. He finished up with an Orange Bowl win, 12-1. At Stanford. Then he goes to Michigan, and he's 60-17 in the Big Ten. And they end up winning the national championship there. And in his NFL career, he was 13-3 his first year, 11-4 his second year, 12-4 his third year. He went to three NFC championships in the first 3 years, won one, lost the Super Bowl to his brother. Left, and then he came to the Chargers, and in his 2 seasons, he's 22-12. And he's turning the organization around. In his time as a head coach so far, he's 66-31 with the Chargers. The Chargers haven't won shit. Dan, I think Nick Sirianni should fire and hire. Dolphins' O-line wasn't great during McDaniel's tenure, and they ran out of the ball. Hey, Rasputin, I thought that Chris Greer, their general manager, how he kept that job for a decade is incredible. Let's see here. I think we should hire Sean Mannion. Who? Why would, dude, August 5th. Hang in there. Let's see how we, dude, the same thing with Makai Lemon. The same thing with Lemon. I'm not sitting here telling you on August 5th that the guy's a bust. But what I am telling you, you got to practice. Son, you got to get out there and you got to play. I mean, you've got to play. You've got to show where you're going to fit in this year and help the football team. I'm talking about availability right now. I'm not even talking about ability. Get this. It takes no athletic ability to be healthy. So is he going to be like an injured guy all the time? Holy shit. Really off to a bad start so far. Why haven't the Rams extended Nakua? Great question. That's a great question. I think, guess what? I think his off-the-field issues have rubbed the Rams the wrong way. Could you see them moving him in the offseason? I don't know. Get Lemonade on the field. As much as I get around in Shitstar, I know he has the intangibles to do it. I just hope he has the confidence and they understand in the next year that's my expectation. I don't know. If they don't have a lot of patience. Dan Sileo, do you think the Eagles would trade Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean in a first for Justin Herbert? How crazy does this sound? Yeah, no. Justin Herbert and Cooper DeJean for Herbert. Whew, man. Yeah. No. One of them and some draft picks. Not both of them. I can't do that. Okay? And I don't believe the Chargers would move him either. But, yeah, no, not both. Quinyon in a 1. Cooper in a 1 for Herbert. But remember, we're talking Herbert. You know, you're talking anything else? I have no interest. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and Herbert and Derwin James. That's what I would start throwing up. By the way, both parties probably wouldn't do it. That's one of those trades that the Eagles would go, yeah, not offering that. And then the Chargers would go, yeah, not offering that. For what? To go back to having a stiff quarterback? No way. Both sides wouldn't do that. Puka left his pregnant baby mama before the kid was born and then bites a chick during the offseason. Some guys are just weirdos. Yeah, well, I'm not giving a guy $40 million a year with that kind of behavior. Okay, it's one thing to be and have issues that Jalen Carter had, which weren't over the top. Okay, this right here, this is weirdo shit. Like, he's capable. And plus the Jewish stuff that he threw out when he was barking on a video or something. Yeah, no. Bro, you play in L.A. What are you doing? You know, he's insulting Jewish folks. He's biting chicks. Yeah, no, man. You're in Hollywood. I mean, you might want to know where you are. And I don't know, man. He like a weirdo. I don't know if I'm giving $40 million for a weirdo. Herbert's a nobody. Hasn't proved. Mention Herbert, and here come the crybabies. I know, right? Hey, my guy's better. Are you kidding me? My guy's been on the top of the mountain, and he's the best guy ever. Have you seen my guy? My guy's a winner. He sits on Mount Olympus. Are you kidding me? Justin Herbert hasn't won shit. Okay? I mean, where is everybody? Sills has Tyreek Hill played his last game in the NFL. No team has invited him to camp. Well, shit, dude. He came out and basically said he's not healthy. Okay? Herbert will go down as one of the greatest what ifs in the. I don't know why I land on that idiot. Sills, wait a second. He'll go down in the Hall of Fame. Just like Warren Moon, just like Phillip Rivers will, just like name a quarterback, put up great yards, and went to the Hall of Fame. He'll be a Hall of Famer, guy. Not saying Jalen's perfect, but getting the defense perfect. Okay. Bro, I think Herbert is good, but I don't see. Oh, he'll be on a Hall of Fame. Right now, he's Hall of Fame trend. Here. That's where he's at right now. Matthew Stafford was a Hall of Famer if he retired in Detroit. Let's see here. Justin Herbert. Let's see here. Herbert. Right now, in 6 years, has thrown for 25,000 yards and 163 touchdowns and 58 picks. His 17-game average is 4,530. You put that guy in a 10-year, he's going to have roughly 44,000 passing yards in 10 years. And that'll put him at, if he plays 15, that'll put him at around 70,000 passing yards. He's going to Pro Football Hall of Fame. By the way, don't be shocked if Dak gets run for the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying, if Dak ends his career with 65 to 70,000, if Dak ends his career with 65,000 passing yards and 350 touchdown passes, Dak's going to Hall of Fame. Let me see where Dak is. By the way, Battle Royale coming up. Don't forget Mike Quick's tomorrow, too. Let's see where Dak is. Let's see, Dak. 10 years in. So Dak has thrown for 36,000 yards in 10 years. And he's averaging 4,400 yards per season passing on 17 games. So, but again, with the injuries, he's averaging 3,598 yards passing with 24 touchdowns. So he's got to stay healthy. Dak puts 5 years in, the next 5 years. And Dak could put, let's see, 8. Puts another 17,000 yards on top of 35. That'll be 52,000 passing yards. And around 320 touchdown passes. That's into his 15th year. And he would be 36. If he gets to 60,000 passing yards, there's a conversation about him going to the Hall of Fame. Watch this. Dak has one playoff game when he was a rookie. Dan Marino 7-9 in the postseason. All right. So we got a bunch of good ones here today. Did I hear somebody say Mekhi Rager? Is that what's going on? I'm not. I told you guys, I am not there. It's August 5th. However, you do got to get on the field, no? I mean, you do got to get on the field to find out where you're going to be. All right. without further ado, the Dallas Cowboys with a huge year for Dak Prescott and for his push for the Hall of Fame. It is going to be a huge year for the Dallas Cowboys. Without further ado, the man who's one of the best content creators for the Dallas Cowboys, our friend Mark Holmes, and the legend himself, Philly 500, joins us now here on the program. How you boys doing? What's going on there, big man?
Mackay Rhaegar? No, you didn't.
That's what some of the guys in here were calling him, Mackay Rhaegar.
You were calling him a toad yesterday.
No. I called him a toad.
Yes,
Wait.
you did. I heard it.
Hold on. Bro, you got to practice. By the way, you know what the problem is with, you know what Eagle fans are saying?
What's that?
Practice. Well, you only get 15 of these. You only get 15.
Practice in OTAs either.
Well, all I'm saying, and plus you got Lane. I don't know here, man. But we got some questions for you, my friend, with your boy Dak. Look at the shirt, Philly. New attitude.
Well, he was upset about there's no crying in football. Maybe I should go back to that one.
New attitude, same losing.
We got an echo there, Philly. And some heavy.
Yeah, I know. You got one too. I got one on you too. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell. We had a guy on earlier too saying that kind of stuff, but I think you sound good with us. I don't know, man. Maybe it's YouTube here. All right. So, Billy, I'm going to ask you flat out. Are you concerned at all about Mackay Lemon?
It's too early for me to be concerned, but I don't like the trajectory he's on.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, he missed minicamp, he missed OTAs. Now he's missing more practice. So I feel like if in a week time he's back for preseason, fine. But if it gets to where it's like, we're halfway through preseason and he hasn't played, then I think I do have a little bit of concern.
Now I got a problem with you, Mark. Okay?
What?
I got a problem with you now, okay?
Okay.
I mean, yeah, this is a StreamYard thing. This is nothing with anybody here. This is StreamYard doing this. So, Dak Prescott is wearing a championship T-shirt. He must be watching your show from 32 years ago.
Okay.
Why would you put a bullseye on your chest like that when you've won 4 playoff games? And he owned it. I saw the video the other day, and I'm like, okay, did you like it or not like it?
It was from the 90s. I still wear shit from back then, man. That was greatness. It wasn't like, 2027 Super Bowl champions, like he put a tattoo of Super Bowl champions on his arm. It was a throwback shirt, man. He's embracing the Dallas Cowboys' past greatness in hopes of having some of that greatness himself. I got no problem with that.
Philly, what about it? Can you imagine if Jalen Hurts came out and he was wearing a shirt from 2024? He's got every right. He was a Super Bowl MVP in that game.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Dak is that he does this all the time. He tries to talk a big game like he's going to do something, only to come up really small when it matters. So this is par for the course. Last year he met the Rams owner and said, "Hey, guess what? I'll see you guys in the championship game."
And he was right.
That's his mentality.
Championship game.
Yeah, but you know what he meant.
It on TV.
You know what he meant.
He saw them.
You know what he
at
meant.
The championship game.
You know what he meant. He meant that his Dallas Cowboys would be playing the Rams in the championship game, and of course they didn't. So it's par for the course with that.
No. I would rather see, because here's my thing: if you don't believe something can happen, chances are it can't. You got to believe something that's going to happen, and then you get to bust your ass to try and do everything you can to make it happen. So instead of him being here, I'm just happy that I'm getting a paycheck from the Cowboys and now I'm an NFL player, and be content with that. No, he's putting the bullseye on his back and saying, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I don't have a problem with that. Now, if it ends up not being there, then he's going to take the shots, of course. But when is he not taking shots? If he didn't say this, they'd say, oh, well, see, he only cares about getting the check. He's in a no-win situation no matter what he does, because that's the narrative. There is no right answer for Dak Prescott.
Philly, are you concerned right now with Lane Johnson and what's going on there?
No, I have no idea what's going on. If it's not injury related, no, I don't have a concern right now.
You think he's thinking about retiring?
No, I do not think that's what it is. I think maybe his wife's got the flu. I don't know, but I'm not going to worry about that.
Well, why
until
wouldn't the
I hear
Eagles
something.
just come out and be like, hey, look, he's got some family issues and, he's dealing with some things here. Instead, what you're done is, it's a 4th straight day. Now, look, as a player of that stature, I don't really, that's not catastrophic like Mekhi Lemon missing camp. To me, Lane not missing it's not a big deal. But it surely does send a lot of vibes out there that, what's up, man? We know he struggles with mental health. And listen, dude, I hope it is. I swear to God, Philly, I hope it's this. Hey, I'm just trying to get my mind right and ready for the 2026 season, and I'm ready to roll, and I can't wait for all this shit to go on. It creates a lot of mystery on what's going on with that guy. And everyone's even making the comment, what is the issue here with that?
Yeah, I don't know. But it's not injury related, and I have to assume that until further notice that it's not something like retirement. I don't think he would do that. I think he would have told us long before coming to camp if he wanted to retire.
Okay.
Can I ask the question?
Sure.
Here? Because weren't you yesterday talking about how with the change of Jeff Stoutland being gone, that they're changing the terminology and everything else, and they're having some confusion with that? When you do get kind of long in the tooth, you start thinking about change. Okay, I'm an old dog. I got my Super Bowl rings. Do I need to do this shit? I mean,
Mark, I don't think you could take that off the table. I don't. I think, look, we're not talking about a 30-year-old guy here. We're talking about a guy who missed half the season a year ago. And again, I believe that? No. But I think everything's on the table with this. Because again,
it's possible, no.
And it is. And that's the problem with it, especially when you're installing so many new things here. All right, Mark, let me ask you this. Can George
Hey,
Pickens...
Sills, do you want me to leave and come back for that
I don't
echo?
think it's anything to do with you. I don't think it's anything to do with you. I think it's StreamYard. If Zander says maybe, but right now,
okay. If you want me to try, I can.
Yeah, I don't really think it's anything to do with us.
Like you're fine, but Mark's echoing. Mark's also echoing, so he's falling apart too. Yeah.
Well, why don't you go out and come back in? Let's see if that helps at all in anything. Let's see if we end up, because I'll put this question. I'll put this question to you then, Mark.
Okay.
Can George Pickens and Javonte Williams, can they do it again?
Right now, looking at George Pickens, people will say, well, it's just the Dallas Cowboys defense. He looks uncoverable. He is flying down the field. The biggest problem we have with him is he's in the end zone so much that he's celebrating. They're like, come on, man, we got to get more work in. Stop celebrating. He looks like he's going to be the real deal. Now, the good news maybe is that Jaden Blue is actually looking pretty good in practice right now, too. So you may look at a situation where he's going to be able to keep Javonte Williams fresh and be able to bust out and so on. So, yeah, I think they can do it. The offensive line seems to be pretty good right now. Tyler Guyton, when it was supposed to be an open competition, they've gone through and now said, no, Tyler Guyton, he's going to be the starter. So he's getting all the reps and everything else, and he seems to be better.
Let's bring Philly back in here with us. And Philly, I asked the question, do you believe that George Pickens and Javonte Williams can do it again in Dallas? You think those guys do it again? You think those guys elevate? Or do you think that was a one-year deal?
I think Pickens will have a good year again. I don't know about the running back, though. But I think Pickens, yeah, I'll say half of the guys show up.
I'll ask you a question on Schottenheimer. What's Schottenheimer going to look 2.0? What do you think he's going to look like after what he did a year ago? What's the encore for him? Last year, Mark, you guys had the number one offense in pro football.
Mm-hmm.
What's year two going to look like with Schottenheimer?
Well, here's what I'm going to say is Schottenheimer last year, Jerry Jones did what Jerry Jones does. He got somebody he was comfortable with to be the coach. And Brian Schottenheimer, you can't go against your boss. He did exactly what he had to do. He had to let Matt Eberflus fail in order for him to be able to get the guy that he wanted. And it seems like, and again, we've only had 2 padded practices, but it seems like the attitude and everything else is different. And I'm going to tell you where he impressed the hell out of me was with Donovan Araku in practice. They got into it, him and Terrence Steele, and he threw a punch. Took his ass and kicked him out of practice. Because he basically said, we're not going to allow stupid plays to screw us. And that is something that we always got away with. Randy Gregory was always tackling the quarterback late. Hell, against the 49ers, he tackles an offensive lineman that had he not tackled him, it would have been 4th down. We would have gotten the ball back sooner and had a shorter field, and maybe Dak doesn't have to run out the clock trying to pick up a 1st down. And so if nothing else, he's created a culture and an attitude that we're not going to have self-inflicted wounds.
Philly, has Devontae Smith now taken over as the number one most important dude in that offensive huddle? Because supposedly on Tuesday, all the people that were out there, it looked chaotic in the passing game when he wasn't there. And it was like really not a good day. Supposedly today was a little bit more of a bounce back in some of the things that they did. But yesterday was really a chaos kind of scenario. Has he now taken that mantle? You can't lose him, right? He is maybe the most important player in that huddle.
Oh, I mean, he's up there because if you lose him, who are you going to replace him with? There's literally nobody else, and we're still waiting for somebody else to emerge as that number 2. So right now, I think that's a fair statement because he's been really, really good when he's been on the field. So I would say so at this point. I think yeah.
Mark, I keep asking you in different ways this question, and I think this all hinges for you. As much as I think the season hinges for the Eagles and their run game, I think this hinges for you guys. How much better do you believe that this defense is going to be in 2026? This right here, Mark, this question right here is going to determine how far you go. If you guys have not improved, it's just like the Eagle O-line. If they're not healthy, that shit's over. If you haven't improved, I mean, you're still a 500 football team. How much do you think it's improved?
I think it's improved a lot. And I'm going to say Christian Parker's effect already with the secondary is night and day. Between health and Christian Parker and better talent, we're going to be better suited on defense without a doubt. And to tell you how much better we'll be is you kind of have Overshown, who a guy we were just praying that can get back early enough and can play, is fighting for a job right now. That the talent that Gerard Barhammer, as everybody's calling him, is looking really good at linebacker, along with D. Winters, that we've stepped up and improved there. Our run-stopping ability, Quentin Williams practicing against Booker and Tyler Smith, those guys, everybody is getting some real work and stuff in here. And it's not like one side is dominating the other. They're both, guys are having good days both ways. So I think that the defense has definitely improved quite a bit.
Philly, I can't
tell you.
Philly, what about Grenard?
How many wins difference did he say? I could barely hear Mark, so I was curious. How many wins more does he think they'll get now?
I think we'll get 11 wins.
11 wins.
Okay.
11 wins. How concerned are you, Philly, for Jonathan Grenard?
What was that, Philly? Somebody tickle your
I don't
ass or
know.
something?
It depends. Like, if we're talking that he's back for the season, I think we'll be fine. But I do worry because he's supposed to be doing new things. So I would say like it's like 50%. One out of 10. I'd say a 5.
I got you at 11 wins too, Mark. And if you don't come in at 11 wins,
It's a failure.
at the end of the day, dude, I mean, that's a wrap on Dak.
Oh no,
Gotta
no,
go.
no.
Here, wait a minute, Philly.
It never
Enough
is a wrap on that.
Bro, enough is enough. You got to get to the NFC title game, dude.
What? Wait. You think Dak's got to? I like it. I like what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. But Cowboy fans don't think like that. They think it's everybody else's fault all the time.
Well, here's my thought. If I look at Sean Payton, okay, Sean Payton came in with Denver first year, I think 8-9, right? You know, and he ended up clearing up the roster, ended up getting rid of Russell Wilson. People were laughing at him the first half of the season. Second year, I think they had 9 wins, and then last year 13-4, and in the AFC Championship game. So it took him 3 years to get to that point. We're only in the second year, and we are completely rebuilding this team. I mean, you look at the defense, you only have possibly one starter from last year that started the season as a starter. That's a hell of a lot of change to go ahead and say you got to be in the NFC Championship game. And unfortunately, one more thing. Unfortunately, statistics will tell you that a team that's had the 32nd defense has not been to the Super Bowl the next year, ever. So it takes time.
Mark, enough, man. Cowboy fans have to get back to having that mentality where, guess what? Do you know the difference between the Eagle organization and the Cowboy right now is this? If you listen to the Eagles and you listen to their fan base, it sounds like they won 3 games last year. And they won 11 ball games.
True.
I mean, and you're hoping to get to the Sun Bowl.
Bro, we'd have missed the playoffs the last 2 years.
I know.
It's a major step up. I can understand.
It's like rooting to get to the Sun Bowl.
Where the Eagles are.
Mark, it's like rooting to get to the Sun Bowl and not the national title game.
So Dak gets killed for wearing a Super Bowl t-shirt.
Whoa. You put the bullseye on yourself.
Okay. I'm just saying, you're killing him for saying we're shooting for it, and then you're killing us for not saying we're shooting for it.
No. Well, Dak put the bullseye on. You guys should be aiming at it.
It doesn't matter if he put it on him or not. It's always on him.
But wait.
Every year.
You should be firing bullets at that guy. Hey, guy, you want to put that on? You want to put that bullseye on? I love it. Like Philly said, I love it. But I'll tell you what, I fire grenades. I fire grenades at Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fire
bombs.
I don't fire BB guns at him. You guys are firing BB guns at Dak. Bro, you got to throw grenades at that guy. Let's fucking win, man. I don't know, man.
I hear you.
I think Cowboy fans have kind of lost because of the losing over 30 years.
We've been beat the fuck down.
They need to get, you know what? Guys need to get back to the old Jimmy Johnson way of thinking. You know what that is? If you motherfuckers don't show up this year, I'll get rid of every single one of you, and I'll get a brand new roster in here. Hey, Philly, do you know what he used to do on every Tuesday when they were 1-15, the Cowboys? Jimmy would bring in 30 dudes, and every guy on the roster would go, holy shit, who's he bringing to come in here and take our job? You know, as the Cowboys started winning, you know what it went to? It went from 30 to 15. It went down to 5, and then it went to 1. And you know what he told everybody in the team meeting? He looked around and he went, hey, don't let that number get back up there again because I'll get rid of every one of you motherfuckers. And that's how that guy ran that football team.
You got to respect that. You got to respect that. I respect that.
And I think you guys have lost that a little, Mark. I mean,
without a doubt, because people could circumvent the coach and go right to the owner, which is why when I told you that he took Donovan Easy and said, get your ass off this field, that I felt like, okay, you know, I'm going to be nice until I need to put a foot in your ass. That's the first time I've seen anybody since Bill Parcells being able to do that. And that's one of the reasons why it gives me hope.
Okay. Is this a Dak Prescott MVP season?
It better be.
Okay.
He had already put the bullseye, like you said, on his back. You got to perform, dude.
Philly, I got to tell you, and I'm going to give you some kudos here on this one because I know you liked him from the beginning. Dude, I thought this guy was just a somebody or a nobody or whomever. Who the hell is this Jalen Hunt? Dude, every freaking time he steps on the field,
I
He's
know.
getting better and better and better and better. And I'm going to make
Yeah.
a proclamation to you. Who would you rather have? Think about this one here, Mark. At the end of the year, Moro Ojomo's up for a contract extension.
Mhm.
If Jalen Hunt has 12 sacks and he's eligible, who would you rather keep? Hunt or Moro Ojomo?
Oh, Hunt, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I look at Hunt like I think Nolan Smith is the guy, the odd man out because Jalen Hunt's going to take his extension. That's it. That should be his extension, right? As a first round pick, he's getting. But it's going to be Jalen Hunt. That's a Vic Fangio find, man. He liked him, Fangio, and he saw something in him. And the kid, I mean, he was a safety in college, and he's just learning to play the position. So I'm really excited about him, man. I think the sky's the limit.
How's your pass rush going to be this year, Mark?
That's a good question. It depends on if we were actually trading for Max Crosby or not, because it seems like that's where things are pointing.
I saw
if
that.
not-
I saw that question to Jerry. I saw that question, and Jerry was asked the question. He goes, "How come you guys?" And I'm paraphrasing. You correct me if I'm wrong, Mark. I think it was a female reporter asked the question.
Jay Slater.
Okay, very very accomplished. Asked the question. How come the conversation broke off and the trade talks broke off between the Raiders and Max Crosby? And am I right when I say this? Jerry said that they haven't.
No, that's what Jerry said. And he got pretty close to the edge of tampering. And the part that I will say is, yeah, Jerry says a lot of shit. Jerry will pull shit out his ass left and right. And usually it's Stephen Jones who kind of pulls everything back down to earth and so on. And when Jerry's saying we were talking to some owners about a big trade and a big move, Stephen kind of backed that up. Now, we've heard about Max Crosby. Then we kind of heard about possibly Jordan Brooks from Miami. And then we've also heard that they might end up being interested in signing Bobby Wagner and Von Miller. So they're going to do something. The question will be is at what level?
Philly, do you like this wide receiving core?
No, not right now. I not right now. I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with Wicks and some of those guys, but as of right now, we don't have anybody who's really, I think, that second guy, And then you got Lemon missing practice. That hurts us. So I think, look, I think that the Eagles should go about 2 more weeks, and if nobody really takes that job, I think you should make a move for a receiver.
Philly, that would mean this then, that inside of 4 months, he drafted, in the first round, you drafted Makai Lemon. The second round, you got Stowers. And that you're not happy with the other guy on the other side of Devontae Smith. Isn't that a kind of a sign that it's a panic sign a little bit?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying like they should rush into it. I'm not saying that, but right now I'm waiting to see that other guy emerge. Right, the other guy I would say hasn't. To be quite honest with you, from what I've seen at practice, it looks like Darius Cooper should get snaps. He's been more productive every day than everybody else. I think Wicks has got, I mean, hopefully Wicks will emerge because I think he's got the most upside, and I do like him, but he's been inconsistent. Really great catch, then a bad drop. It's been kind of like that. So I think it's kind of like we're waiting for somebody to emerge. It's like the cornerback position last year, right? With Dory Jackson and Ringo, and we waited and waited and waited for somebody to kind of take that job, and then they went out and made a trade. So I think that's kind of where we're at with that position.
Hey, Sills, tell Mark the Dak era is almost over, thank God. I hope we win 3 games so we can draft Arch and start a new chapter. Would you like to see Arch Manning as a Dallas Cowboy quarterback next year?
Well, not if it means we got to get 3. We're getting 3 wins this year. I can't go through that. Man, that 7.5 win season last year about killed me. I can't do that.
Who's emerging in camp for you right now that you've been surprised?
I'm going to actually say that Tyler Guyton has actually surprised a bunch of people. Seeing him get to the second level, he seems to have rebuilt his body. His attitude seems a little bit different, and he's definitely turning some heads. Between him and Savon Ravel, who last year, of course, was wearing a knee brace after kind of having a setback at training camp, he seems to be all over the field, and he is definitely night and day different from where he was before.
And personally, I don't really see a lot in Arch right now. So just saying. Hey, Philly, about Trotter, dude. I mean, you think he's pushing your boy Jahad Campbell for some playing time this year?
Maybe. I think Jahad Campbell looks pretty good himself. I think they both do, but you got to find a way to get him on the field. So I think they got a really deep linebacking core.
I'll tell you what, you got a problem coming up maybe at the end of the year here, Philly, and that is with Clint Hurt. Dude, the job that guy has done with developing of defensive linemen and the money that guy has made people. Look at this. Look at this one here, Mark. Jalen Phillips got paid. Milton Williams got paid. Josh Sweat got paid. Jalen Carter got paid. Jordan Davis got paid. Moro Jomo's going to get paid. Even the guy Byron Young's turning out to be somebody. And now they're talking about this UR Bernard may end up turning out to be something in about 2 years.
Yeah.
This all comes down to Clint Hurt. I'm going to tell you this. If you don't lock that guy up and put that guy as your assistant head football coach or give that guy a massive raise, that guy's going to be a DC somewhere. And a DC somewhere where you may not want to see that guy.
Isn't he? Didn't they give him an assistant coaching job? I think
Did
that's.
they give him
I
the
think
assistant head coach? Did they give him that?
I think they did.
Good.
I think he's waiting in the wings for Fangio. I think he's your defensive coordinator when Fangio goes. I think that's the plan, and I like it. I like Clint Hurt a lot.
We have that similar problem right there too, because Clayton Adams, who's already in the NFL accelerated head coaching program, if this offense is anything like it was last year, I can guarantee you he's gone. And the way this defense is beginning to look, if this defense somewhere gets below 15, I can guarantee you some people are going to be looking at Christian Parker to be a head coach.
Is Brian Schottenheimer the best coach you've had since Parcells?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will say that the Joneses trust him more than anybody that they've had since Bill Parcells. I look at it and say, the Cowboys have not done any. You can look at it and say, with Jason Garrett, they tried to bring in people with T.O., they tried with the Roy Williams trades and things like that. But after that, the Cowboys never did anything to really try and get over the hump. You can see now, unfortunately, maybe it was Micah Parsons' situation forced their hand into doing things, but now they're more open. The fact that they're even talking about trying to make a big move at this point, the fact that they went out and got Quentin Williams for the trade deadline to try and save the season, it's definitely operating different in it because it goes in with trusting of the coach.
Philly Mannion asking, and, we asked you earlier on this one here, boy, there's a lot of changes going on right now. Are you concerned about all these changes and how it's going to affect the quarterback? I mean, why wouldn't you stick with shit? Well, here, let me go and why I'm saying this. Why are you changing 20? Why are you changing 11? Think about this here too, Mark. Why are you changing terminology for 11 guys versus changing terminology for one guy? My point is, you're teaching people your terminology and how you want to get people lined up, how you want to get them in a position with verbiage that they don't know and haven't heard before. Why doesn't that make sense the other way and have him have the terminology that the players understand and then have one with? It just seems to me, why in the world would you do this? It's like trying to teach a bunch of Portuguese how to play football and speaking German to them. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And I think it makes for a little bit more why the offense maybe hasn't looked so well in camp is that they don't know where to line up yet. And this may be also a factor why Lemon and some of these other guys are struggling.
I think that's like saying put the Bible on the kids menu at McDonald's. There is no room. There was nothing in what they had last year. None of the. I think half the stuff they're doing now, they didn't even do at all. There was no verbiage for. With Patullo, I think the offense was so ineffective. I think the coaching staff, especially Patullo, I thought it was so bad and so basic that a lot of the things they were doing, you had to create your own language because it wasn't there. They're doing
But
things that
you won 11 games.
Patullo never thought of.
You won 11 games doing that.
You won 11 games because of the talent you had around you, and you won in spite of that. I don't think you won because of it. You won in spite of it.
Okay, so this year, in your opinion, you think he's going to put them in a better position with lesser offensive talent, though, right?
Yeah, I think the quality, from what we've heard, the quality of the way the offense looks already on the field is better than what was under Patullo ever. And if you look at the way the guys are reacting, the players themselves, yeah, I think the quality will be better. It's going to take a while. They're going to have to adjust. But, yeah, I think overall it's better.
Couple last questions here for you.
One thing, let me just interject, because one thing I can remember when I heard you say that yesterday was I thought back to Clayton Adams, because Clayton Adams said exactly what you said. He said, we're not changing the verbiage. It's better for me and my assistants to go ahead and learn that instead of having my 11 players. Keep them comfortable with what they know, and we can take it from there and add to it and end up being able to be better, because we're not going to waste time having to learn this. So the problem you have, you got 15 practices, and now everybody's got to learn a new play call. And everybody knows if you're having to think, wait, what is cracking it? What's cracking? Oh, I got to go here. You've lost. And so that's taking away more time that you can have to hone things up. You can roll your eyes all you want. It's true.
I disagree. I think it's bullshit. I think you needed to do it.
Well, wait, Philly. If I tell you how to,
yeah, well, I don't give a shit what you think I should think and what you think you said what I said.
Hold it. You're actually going to try and defend that you've got to spend more time in practice because one of the guys doesn't understand what his boxing assignment is because he doesn't know it. That doesn't affect the team.
They have a team that went to Super Bowl twice in 5 years.
I
think they know what the
what
fuck
have you
they're
done for
doing
me lately?
when your team
well, then why have they
shit for 30?
Then why
for 30 years you ain't done shit.
Then
How
why
are you
have
going
they
to tell me anything?
Then why
You're
have they
losing it,
struggled in
Philly.
camp?
You're losing it.
Why have they struggled in camp then?
Who said they struggled in camp? You're saying they struggled in camp because they're trying to learn a new offense. You have a Vic Fangio's defense. You have a Vic Fangio's defense that's been together for how long? Okay, and you're now having a new offense come in, and you guys act like they're not supposed to struggle. There's not a learning curve.
I didn't hear this
That's
stuff
ridiculous.
A year ago.
There's not supposed to be a learning curve.
I didn't hear you guys struggling on offense last year or the year before. I didn't hear any of that. I heard none of that.
You talked about it every day.
What? I heard the ball never hit the ground when Jalen Hurts was throwing the ball in camp. And by the way, Billy, my point on that and how you're coaching somebody, if I tell you, I want you to slip and scoop to the right, and now all of a sudden you're saying, I want you to fan, and it's the same thing. That's completely different in how you're coaching somebody and a guy who's been listening to it under Stoutland for 12 years. Now all of a sudden the guy's got to go, does that fan block mean the same thing as a slip and scoop? I
get it. I get it. I get what you're saying. I get it. I understand that's what you're saying. I get it. But I have to think that when they sat and they decided how to go about it, they thought that was the best process, and there's a reason why. So I trust it.
So in Sirianni, you trust?
In Mannion, I trust.
Oh, so you trust Mannion more than Sirianni?
I do. I trust him more than Patullo. I'm talking specifically offensive coordinator versus offensive coordinator. If you want to talk about, the coach has been there already. I think he's fine. But we're talking about coordinators. So I'm comparing Patullo and Mannion.
Okay. Fair. But by the way, I do think that is something here, Mark. You are going against a bunch of really talented players on that other side of the football.
That's true.
And that is going to sharpen your offense when you're going against quality guys like that. He's right completely about that. But I want to make a point to you here, Mark,
Mm-hmm.
and and Philly. I'll tell you what, and I put this out, and Yahoo picked it up as well, bro. They're gonna regret not having AJ on that football team because that wide receiving core that you have right now is not good enough. And you know it, Philly. It's not good enough.
I'm not. I'm not going to argue that point. I never wanted to move on from him anyway.
This comes down to Barkley, doesn't it?
Well, I think that's a big part of it. You got to get that running game going. So the offensive line in Barkley, yeah. If that returns to what it was a few years ago, yeah, I think that changes the dynamics a lot. It does.
Mark, who do you think has a better year this coming season? Saquon Barkley. Who do you think has a better year, Saquon Barkley or your boy that runs the ball? What's his name? Williams.
Javonte Williams. I'm going to say Williams does because our passing game is going to help open up the run, and I'm going to say right now my Cowboys offensive line is in better shape with less questions than the Eagles offensive. But let me add one thing about the offensive line. The Cowboys back in 2018, we hired Paul Alexander from Cincinnati. His big thing on offensive line was to know if they were smart enough was if they could take a ketchup bottle, if they knew to tap on the 57 and the ketchup would come out, then they were smart enough to be an offensive lineman. He came through, he changed the terminology and everything. He took Travis Frederick, Tyron Smith, and Zach Martin and made them look like they were just average. He fucked up the offensive line. They fired him mid-season, and we brought back, I can't remember his name, former offensive lineman, turned that offensive line around that season, and we ended up making it that run and going into the playoffs when we got Amari Cooper. And I'm telling you that those changes and things with guys that are veterans, we turned around. We traded for Amari Cooper. The offensive line started playing better, and we ended up making a run, being the worst starting team to ever win the NFC East, and came back and won the division and made the playoffs. I'm just telling you.
What happened?
What happened? Well, we lost in the playoffs, but I'm just saying how the difference of a coach makes. And when he came in and changed everything, you're talking about Pro Bowl players that just literally didn't know what the fuck they were supposed to do.
No, I like I said, I do agree with what Philly said though in this. These guys are veteran guys, and they're gonna know, how to adapt to this stuff, and they're gonna know how they're gonna have to change. However, you're really counting on one thing, and the whole season for the Eagles comes down to this. If Barkley doesn't show up, and that offensive line doesn't show up, it's mute. It's moot.
I agree.
It doesn't matter.
Agreed. I agree. 1,000%. We can agree on that.
And just like for you, Mark, if your defense doesn't show up, I don't care if you put up 60 points. You're going to get beat.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it, and Dak Prescott will be blamed.
And rightfully so.
No, he won't.
If
He'll get excuses.
If the defense is ass, you're still going to blame the quarterback.
The one thing I've learned about
if I'm paying somebody $65 million, whether it's right or wrong, I didn't say it was right, Mark. I said that's the way the world works. Jalen Hurts got blamed for a horseshit ending to a season. I don't care what anybody says. That's part of playing the position. And he's going to get all the kudos for the 2 NFC championship wins.
That's true.
Cowboys don't hold Dak responsible. Only if they're only going to do it if everything's perfect. If anything isn't perfect, then you can't blame Dak. Although for everybody else, things aren't perfect and they seem to manage to rise above it. But Dak, no, it's not his fault. Green Bay, it's the offensive line. Oh, it's the defense. Oh, it's this, it's that.
Whoa. Weren't things kind of perfect in 24?
No. Did you not know that all the drama you keep putting shirts on about were in 24? They were during 24. That's when they were fighting in 24.
Okay, but I'll tell you what. When you have a 2,000-yard rusher, when your offensive line is probably one of the best offensive lines since the 90s Cowboys, and your defense was playing lights out and stopping the run. That's pretty damn perfect.
There was drama. There was drama. There was A.J. Brown and Hurts fighting. Everything that you keep writing your shirts about and doing videos on, it happened the year they won a Super Bowl, not the year after. That's the difference. Jalen Hurts can win in those situations. He's a winner.
what happened to Dallas was, again, they waited so late in the offseason on dealing with CD, with Dak, that what it did was it took their eye off the ball at tooling the roster. For me, Philly, the one thing, many things that Howie does right that Jerry Jones does wrong, he doesn't believe, Mark, Jerry doesn't believe in building the roster like Jimmy did.
Right.
He believes in superstars. He believes in Hollywood. The Eagles are a roster. They're not really one guy. It's a roster of players in a 53-man roster that wins Super Bowls. Jerry likes, I want CD. I want that. And then you know what you got with the rest of these guys? You got a bunch of hamburger helper instead of filet mignon.
Kind of said that.
Let me ask you a question, Sills. What have you liked that you've heard come from the Eagles camp regarding the offense?
That he's throwing across the middle of the field.
Okay.
That they're struggling, actually, against a really high-powered defense. And what I mean by that is the only way you're going to learn is going through bumps and bruises. If you got everything going and everything is going in the right direction, and I hate front runners. I like to have people that have to go through adversity because to me, again, and Mark, here's my biggest question mark that I have for Sirianni. Every time there's a question mark and every time I need an answer, he ain't the fucking guy I want to go to because he doesn't have them. I want problem solvers. And if the quarterback is going to be able to problem solve and be able to, what was that word he was using? Recalculate or whatever that he was using today when he was press conferencing. I was like, to me, I mean, again, if he's processing everything and he's seeing everything, actually what he's doing, he's looking for answers. Ford Wirtz, in my opinion, is one of the biggest problems that he had. And you know what it was? I think, but wait, Philly, you know what? One thing I really like about the kid, he doesn't make the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
And he looks at it, and remember when he went to Wink Martindale? And he had, how come you guys were able to really read a lot of the things I'm doing? Well, you stopped running.
Yeah.
And once you stopped running, we didn't really give a shit about anything. So I like the fact
Still,
that
he looks thin. He looked like they're saying he looks really, really quick right now. So they may run more than you were anticipating, which is a good thing. I agree with you because I do.
Well,
agree with you
I heard
on
they're
that.
actually implemented some run. There's some RPOs supposedly even under center. That's another thing too, Mark, that I'm going to be interested in seeing Philly is how he handles being under center and turning his back to the defense. Because
They roll him out. They rolled him out. I'm so happy.
About time. They haven't done it in 5 years.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, there's a lot to go on here. Boys, I'll tell you what, man. Hey, real quick, Hall of Fame game tomorrow, man. Isn't it great to see football back tomorrow? Even though it's kind
Mark,
of football.
who you taking?
I'm actually going to go Carolina. I think Carolina. Listen, I think Carolina's going to be a
Mark
good football
taking?
team.
I'll take Carolina. I mean, it's.
I take the opposite. I go opposite Mark. Whatever
Okay.
Mark says, I'm going opposite all year.
Okay.
I think Bryce Young is on his way to doing some decent things. They still need to get more talent around him, though. Guys, I appreciate you more than you know. Check out
New
Mark
attitude.
Combs. Make
Same
sure you
losing.
check out our friend Philly 500. You guys are awesome each and every single week. I enjoy talking to you guys. Thank you,
Love you
brother.
You too, man.
You guys.
New attitude,
All right.
same losing.
Always with the last shot. Always with the last shot. Let's see. We got some more supers here. We got to go back and get here. So let's see here. We'll go back and get some of these. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you coming aboard here. Hey, Sills, tell Mark the Dak. Yeah, we read that one. I think we got one more here that we got here. I think it's a lot of change. Speaking of that, when's the last time Dallas had a good DTs prior to Quinnen Williams? Was it Russell Maryland? Yeah, probably. Probably Russell Maryland. Yeah. I love Quinnen Williams. I think Quinnen Williams is a hell of a football player. If the Eagles fall off this year and we fire Nick and Vic hangs it up, I hope we get McDermott as a head coach and keep our defense humming. Yeah, well, I don't want to do anything on that side of the football with Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio, you know what I would do? I would look at Vic Fangio and I would tell him he's got a Supreme Court seat in Philly, which means if you want to die in office, you go right ahead. I'm not getting rid of that guy. Bell is a bust. It's August 5th. Holy shit. Hang in there. It's August 5th. These guys haven't even gotten to a football competitive game yet. Even I'm saying that to you guys. Hang in there. Arch Manning will get shredded in the NFL. See though, his feet are awful. His dad, uncle's coaching him. If Texas beats Ole Miss, it will be because $40 million roster on Texas. Trinidad is a better quarterback. I don't know if Trinidad Chambers is a first-round pick. Arch Manning is going to be the first overall pick, Kim. Of course you did, Reyes. Of course you did. Of course. Everybody's doing great in camp. That's the Reyes take. Hurts gone after this year. Rebuild time, Eagle fans. Yesterday we had it was like Tanner McKee Day. Seals will hate the Cowboys after this season. He's so hyped and sure about them. He'll finally see that Dak goes blank when needed the most. I said the Cowboys have to go out and play. I think they've improved their roster. That has no bearing. And my prediction, they'll win the East. Not because they're better than you, because of all this shit you're doing. He won't be the first overall pick, Sills, I'm telling you. I would bet my kidney on it right now. I'll tell you what, Kim. If that guy, and they win 11 ball games and make the playoff, he'll be a Heisman Trophy candidate, and he might win the Heisman this year because of the Texas hype machine. You're not getting it, Kim. It's Texas. If you play at Texas, Notre Dame, Southern Cal, Michigan, Ohio State, those programs, no matter if you're halfway good, you're going to get pushed because it's a PR machine. Notre Dame has their own television network for a reason. You might not be the best player in the country, but if you play at Notre Dame, you're going to get, hey, Kim, when I got recruited, you know what people were telling me about going to Notre Dame? You want to become an All-American? Go to Notre Dame. You want to win games? You don't go to Notre Dame. Now, this was back in the day when they weren't very good, which is crazy. When we played them, they stunk. I told you, we beat them 58-7 and 24-0. That was not competitive. Notre Dame was the least competitive big-time program I ever played against. They were just nothing. They were like Wake Forest. So this all comes down to Nick. Is he going to allow Jalen and the offense to struggle for more than 4 weeks before scrapping? And I don't see Nick sitting there and letting it continue if they're 1-3. If that thing's 1-3, you got big problems. Because that means that defense, the first month of the season, has been on the field a lot. Hey, Christopher, you're 1-3 after the first month, Liars Month. And, boy, I can only imagine what that defense will look like. Seals, I preferred Tanner, but well before the 6-19 performance, I want a quarterback who consistently sets protections, read defenses, gets accurate footballs out on time. Be accurate and throw to people open. Dude, bro, I'm going to tell you, my friend, and I understand where you're coming from, but on August 5th, talking about replacing a quarterback is so counterproductive. Like, I can't even go there. And quite frankly, I won't go there. Like, that's not a conversation, like, of reality. Now, if you get into week 5 and you see this guy just shitting all over himself, then the conversation becomes a little bit more and it starts elevating and it starts heating up. But yeah, you're nowhere near that yet. Big Seals will prove you and the haters wrong like we did when we have Kellen Moore in 24. Everyone was laughing when we got Kellen Moore. Now you're all laughing. We have Sean Mannion. Kellen Moore had 2 number 1 offenses in his pedigree. He was a former offensive coordinator in the National Football League. This guy's done nothing, but he'll be the first. Let me see. Has a first-year play caller ever won the Super Bowl? I don't even know if that's a thing. Has a first-year NFL offensive coordinator ever won a Super Bowl? Let's see. Let's see. Trying to see. Let's see here. George Seifert was a defensive guy. 1969, Don McCafferty. Red Miller in 1978. The Colts, Jim Caldwell in 2028. Following Dungy's retirement at 28, Indianapolis didn't miss a beat under Caldwell in 29. Colts won 14 games in the regular season behind Peyton Manning, who led the Colts to their first NFL passing title after defeating the Ravens and Jets in the NFC title game. That's right, they got beat. Eventually got beat by the Saints. So 08, Jim Caldwell. So not really. Hurts owns the Cowboys in the 9. Hurts doesn't own the Cowboys. Dak's 10-5 versus the Cowboys. Seals, when Hurts plays bad, it's never in the way that gets a quarterback bench mid-season. He doesn't throw multiple interceptions back-to-back games. He plays bad, but suffocating the offense. Dude, they're not. If they bench that guy, his career's over. Curtis, if they bench Jalen Hurts at any time, his career's over. And I'm nowhere near that. I can't wait for the season. I can't wait for the season to see what Hurts can do with a weak supporting cast. Yeah, man. I'm sorry. But that offensive group that they have, I don't know, man. I just don't see it. I mean, that thing does not look like it's in the past. Barkley, AJ, Devontae, younger Goddard, and a healthy O-line. Does that look like that? I'm hoping the O-line's healthier. What's up with Lane? You got a little drama going on there now. By the way, you got a little drama going on with this Lane Johnson deal. Sills, is it bad? I don't know. Dude compared Kellen and Mannion earlier. Kellen had 2 number 1 offenses as an OC before coming to Philly. Then they scrapped his offense after 4 fucking games. Mannion has never, ever done this before. I agree with you, Sills, but hey, Josh Allen puts up with it. So does Mahomes. If Hurts can do it, he can kick rocks. He can forget about a contract. He doesn't if he doesn't come to play. By the way, I think he will come to play. They don't play against each other. Dude, Dak Prescott's 10-5 as a starting quarterback versus the Eagles. Fuck. Look at the guy twist around numbers to make himself sound decent. What a tool. Thank you, my friend. Eagle fans better hope that Hurts can improve as a passer. If not, you'll be going and get stacked boxes all season until he proves otherwise. I'll tell you this here, DFW, about your Cowboys. Here what it comes down to. Can Pickens and Javonte Williams do it again? And do it a little better? How much better is that defense going to be? What does Brian Schottenheimer look 2.0? And Dak's got to play like an MVP. Those 3 things. If they do those 3 things, Cowboys are going to be in a conversation. For the first time in 30 years. Sills, that concept is just too difficult for the Jalenites. Quarterbacks don't play each other. I know. How much better can Howie make the roster, honestly? How much better do you think he made the roster, honestly, on offense this offseason? Let me ask you this. That's a great question here. Jason, everyone, what did Howie Roseman do this year to make the offense better? What did he do this offseason to make the offense better? What did Howie do? Howie. O-line depth with 4th and 5th rounders? O-line depth? What has Howie done to improve the offense? Hope draft picks. Hey, listen, like I said, so rookies, okay? Let's see here. Nothing. The hope is to spread the ball with an inexperienced coordinator. So here's what you've done with the offense this offseason. You hired a guy who's never called plays. You've drafted Mekhi Lemon and Eli Stowers to add to your passing game that you're going to change. That's pretty much what you've done, personnel-wise. Schematically, you've added Mannion. So you've added Mannion for the schematics. Personnel, Mekhi Lemon and Eli Stowers, right? Well, that was always going to be. Seal's honest question. We're on the depth chart. Would you say Howie would have replaced the starter? Well, he made a lateral move. And whatever you think of Jonathan Gennard, if you think he's better than Jalen Phillips. And by the way, one thing you say about Jalen Phillips, hey, Jonathan Grenard's hurt now. Well, guess what? Jalen Phillips has a history of being injured also. So you've got to put that in context. Oh, real question here. If Zach Bond, yeah, I think Woolen is. Real question. If Zach Bond plays great again this year, are you going to extend him? He'd be going into the 27th year with 1 year left on his deal. And at the end of 27, he'd be a free agent. Are you going to add a year to his... are you going to add a year or two? Would you add another year? That guy puts 3 straight years of all-pro football up. You're going to let that guy walk out of the room after the 27th season? Man, you got a lot of guys to pay on that side of the ball. I'm so glad I don't have to make that choice. Well, here, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think he runs out at the end of 27. Right? I think he runs out at the end of 27. 5, 6, and 7. Yeah. It was a 3-year deal, right? So 27 would be his final season. And if he plays great this coming off season, would you add a year? Probably depending on what Trotter does and how Campbell plays. If Campbell doesn't play superstar great, they'll probably give him another year. Seals, are you cool with Greg Cosell? We've had him on. I'd like to hear what he... Oh, by the way, tomorrow we have Mike Quick on. Mike will join us tomorrow. Hertz likes what he sees from Wick so far. Okay? Seals, the only thing I wish Howie would have done on offense would be to get something better than Wicks. You did. You went into the draft. Bro, look. Hold on here. I want to show you something. So let me take a look at this. Eagles. So the Philadelphia Eagles today, they made a roster move. So you got Brandon Hayes now. I don't know who the hell this is. You got Brandon Hayes. And here's what you've done. Eli Stowers, Mekhi Lemon, Dontavian Wicks, Elijah Moore, Hollywood Brown, these are all dudes that you've brought in to try to replace AJ's volume. You signed a guy today. You got one. You've brought in so far 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pass catchers. And you guys want to go make a trade for a big-time guy like the kid Thomas down in Jacksonville? I mean, that's a panic move. Some dudes will never comprehend scientifically. They're just going to keep giving you inflated Google numbers that have nothing to do with winning, most likely. A guy ceases never to amaze you. Aaron Moorhead is fucking stealing, man. Who has he developed? He's the biggest flaw on the offensive coaching staff. That's Lurie's butt buddy. Dude, I mean, he had A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith on that team. How much of a good coach do you have to be? You don't really have to be a great coach. Smith was already defined. A.J. was already a stud, just underutilized in Tennessee. That's such bullshit, Sills. Even if A.J. were here, they would still bring in camp bodies like Hayes. Dude, yeah, but nobody would be concerned that they would have to play. Dude, of course you think your offense is better without A.J. Brown. It's the fucking dumbest conversation you can have. Stop lying to yourself. Eagles should have drafted Denzel Boston. J-Mac's evaluation was wrong, man. The Browns got a dog. Hey, well, hang in there. Wait a minute. It's August 5th. It's August 5th. The guy hasn't even been on an NFL football field yet. Relax. Hey, I'm not calling him a bust. How in God's name could you call Mekhi Lemon a bust? Now, what's stupid is all these injury conversations with the guy. I mean, every single time I talk about the guy, he's injured. He's hurt. He's never on the field. So I went through this exercise with Brian Thomas. It's not a great wide receiver. We did that exercise looking at Trayvon. Don't want the kid. I'm out. I think Thomas is a good football player, but I think he's underachieved down there in Jacksonville. Come out of LSU. I think the kid's a good football player, but, like, why would Howie make a move for Brian Thomas? Thomas is a good football player. Wait a second. I'll take that back. He had 1282 his rookie year. And 707 last year in 14 games. He had 10 touchdowns his rookie year. 87 catches. Made the Pro Bowl his first year. And finished 4th in the Offensive Rookie of the Year. That's not too bad. But massive drop-off last year. 48 catches from 87. Had to be banged up. 91 targets, too. Now, that's Liam Cohn spreading the football around a little more. I want it because Lane is going to miss 10 games. Instead of we got Mickey Mouse with one hamstring. I'm under impressed with that. 1282 is not bad. Remember when we had Julio Jones? Still can't believe Hurts was throwing TDs to that Hall of Famer. The guy had 7 catches that year. How many catches did Julio Jones have that year? Like 10 catches? Oh, my bad. He had 11. He had 11 catches. All right, let me pay some bills. Our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America, for a reason. And it's because they win. We tell you about our friends in, down in Pennsylvania here with all the things that went on with them. They got $650K as an initial offer from a company. Morgan & Morgan took the case over. They got nearly $26 million in settlement. Or the family in Florida that was initially offered $350,000. They got nearly $12 million in settlement. Go to forthepeople.com/Big Sills or #529. That's forthepeople.com/Big Sills or #529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sill sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the Gossip King.
Oh, did you hear?
Jackie and Tom?
Are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley...
Had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
You know what, guys? I can already tell football is absolutely around the corner here, man. I got a ton of people over on my Twitter page. By the way, people watching the show there as well. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Hit the like button. Don't forget also, right after the program, Birds 365, John was out there today. He'll give you a bird's eye view. By the way, I chimed in last night and I asked John the question. I go, how do you know how good the defense is if the offense is struggling so mightily? And, I mean, it's one thing to sit there and watch guys that are fumbling around, and supposedly today was a better day. We'll hear from John. But, I mean, how good is the defense? And, I mean, the offense just seems like it can't get out of its own way right now. Most benign comment about how it was cool to see them play, and you have to love it. Another Opta shit on her. What? Let's see here. Julio Jones had 11 catches. We got Woolen for only 1 year. I would take a shot at getting Mike Jackson, cornerback from the Panthers. That kid's a stud. He's only given up 2 catches against the Rams. It was Adams and Nakua. One a fun note, Sills. When you eat crow on Mini and Chargers, will you plead the 5th? I'm surprised nobody brought that shit up. Vic was Vic was awesome with that too. I'm glad. I don't know if anybody took a shit on him. I think if Hurts actually uses the check down in the middle of the field, I could see 4K. Might sound dumb. No. Mikey, the only reason that I say Hurts will never throw for 4K is because they've never had that in his game. Check downs and screens. He's the only quarterback I've ever seen that doesn't throw screens and check downs. Now, supposedly that's changing. And that's going to be added to the offense. But that's the reason. All the thing that guy did was throw to the numbers and a couple passes to Goddard. That's not you're not going to get 4K there with that. And for the record, most of the time, the Eagles, it's crazy. I wonder how many times in Jalen Hurts' career he actually was behind in the second half of football games. That he had to throw his team out of trouble. Hey, when you're in front, you're not going to throw the ball a lot. Well, at least if you have any common sense head coach, you're not going to throw the ball a lot. So there's a lot of factors on why Hurts doesn't have high volume as well. Now, look, they don't throw, and they're not a high-volume passing team. But when you play from the lead and the second half, the majority of the time you're in the lead, you're not going to throw the ball. I don't care if you're Patrick Mahomes. You're just not. Any common sense coach would not throw the ball. Let's see here. Dude, the positivity on the football team is the thing we don't talk about a lot. That's your defense. And Devontae Smith. My coach told me, if you don't care, you stop talking about something. And again, you care because this is where the Eagles have to get better. They don't have to get better with Devontae. Devontae's a good football player. Their defense looks great and looks formidable. You don't really have to dissect that. What's there to dissect? Maybe Carter playing better this year? We talked about it ad nauseum. Grenard being injured, your depth showed up with Alex Hunt and even the guys that they've signed. Howie looks like he signed two decent edges compared to a year ago that could make a contribution to the team. Vic said it so much in his presser. By the way, Vic in the presser today. He really likes Woolen. And there's a lot to like about the kid. Hopefully he keeps his shit controlled. Can you imagine if you're Tariq Woolen? Hey, dude, you know why you're not on the Seahawks? Because you're an asshole. That's why he's not on the Seahawks, because you're an asshole. You can't be that tall, that big, and that athletic not to be on a football team. What's the problem? You can't control your emotions? Well, you're an asshole. And I think you can control being an asshole. Think about that. He's not on the Seahawks, not because he can't play. That guy's not on the Seahawks because he's a jackass. Nobody wants to get... Hey, the worst thing coaches, and they can't stand this. You know what coaches can't stand? Doing things that take no athleticism. Pre-snap, like illegal procedures. Illegal man downfield. What else? Holding. Stupid shit. Not aligned right. Not knowing your assignment. That takes no athleticism. I mean, yeah. Guy got a Super Bowl ring and they said, get the hell out of town. You're an asshole. Just you always say you can't win choir boys. You can't win championships with choir boys. Dude, not being a choir boy and being an asshole because you can't control yourself are two different things. Hey, dude, I mean, yeah. When we played for Jimmy Johnson, we were the least penalized team. We didn't do stupid shit that coach wouldn't tolerate it. Jimmy wouldn't tolerate mental errors. Every year I played with that guy, we were the least penalized football team. It's the way he ran the place. Can't have penalties. It's got nothing to do with not being on Seattle. Know where your feet are. That's right. Shut your mouth and play. You got Q on the other. Dude, hey, Kim. Q might make Tariq Woolen a lot of money this year. So Cooper DeJean. I'm sure that's why they called you all the convicts back in the day. No, because we backed our bullshit up. I said you sucked. I said you were overrated. But I did that on a Monday. And then when Saturday came, we kicked the shit out of you. And if I were you, Irish, like I said, you guys were roadkill, dude. What was it? Let me get one more time. I love it. My favorite. 81-7. We beat those Irish turds 81-7 in 8 quarters of football. 81-7. How about this, Emrayes? Notre Dame was like East Carolina back then. We were pulling our starters after like the second quarter. That's how sorry they were. And when we played Holtz his first time, Holtz walking around like being all crazy. We waxed them 24-0. We were like, what are you doing? Jimmy wouldn't tolerate A.J. Brown. Really? Jimmy tolerated Michael Irvin. Yes, he would. He tolerated Charles Haley. That's not... No, those guys wouldn't act like that. A.J. Brown wouldn't act up. Jimmy would love A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown would know the thing, though. A.J. Brown could do whatever he wanted under Coach Johnson. Because Jimmy would come to him and say this, no problem. You want to be an asshole? No problem. But here's the price tag for being an asshole. If you have any drop in play or any drop in production, you won't be here. You want to be an asshole? Great. No problem. You could be an asshole on my team. But you better get 1,300 yards every year and 100 catches. Because when that starts to diminish, you're out. Now, you want to build a little equity up and you want to act like a teammate? That's going to keep you on the team longer. It's up to you. He called it the player sliding scale. How much shit do you give me and how much production do you give me? That production better be up here. And that shit better be down here. Because if it's more than that, you're out. You're out. And by the way, he never came to you. He just said, you're out. There were no chances. You were out. Seals, what would you think about the 49ers having a practice facility across from a 12K nuke plant? Possibly it explains the constant injuries players should lawsuit against the team, the league, if it can be proven. It's so California. Let me build a practice facility next to a nuclear power plant. How Gavin Newsom can you get? Hey, we'll give you some land, and let's build the new Eagle practice facility next to 3 Mile Island. And let's see if we can, we got some free land over near 3 Mile Island. Hey, I wonder if Jeffrey Lurie wants to build his football stadium over there. Yeah, we'll go over to New Jersey. And we'll build the new Eagle facility right there next to a nuclear power plant. And you know the NFL, though, our union is so stupid. They can't even get grass fields. Okay? You guys are talking about nuclear power plants? These guys don't give a shit. Since when do they care? Hey, do you think we could get grass fields? Now, we're going to put the new practice facility for the 49ers next to a nuclear power plant. Yeah, okay. AJ can have all the women he wants in Dallas. No problem. Eagle fans, that's what we do here. Ask Dak. Hey, dude, AJ's got his rings. He's got his money. And now he's got a place where he wants to play. I'm sure he's all right. Okay? I'm sure he's okay. So Jimmy Johnson said to you, you better give me 1,300 yards, but mention nothing about winning. One player has no determination on winning. You win as a collective. You'll never get that, dude. You take care of your own sandbox. Play to the best of my ability. I can't win football games. A.J. Brown, nobody can. Jalen Hurts can't. It's a collective. Take care of your sandbox. You take care of your sandbox. You show up. You play. You put your numbers up. At the end of the day, everything will fall in line. Everything. Let's see here. You think AJ's a potential Hall of Famer? Depends on what he does in New England. You know, he wins a couple more Super Bowls up there. Maybe. But those numbers aren't good enough right now. Dude, he doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins or even Keenan Allen numbers right now. So, I mean, he's got a lot of work to do. Okay? I mean, he does. He's got a lot of work to do here. Now, guys, do me a favor. Stay tuned now for John and Zander for Birds 365. I heard it was a better day out there today for the offense, but John's going to give you more on that. And supposedly, there was no Lane Johnson again. And from what I understand, also, Mekhi and Devontae Smith did not practice. So you should stay tuned because John will probably have more info on that for you. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Mike Quick will join us, and that'll be at 3:30. We will talk with him. Hit the like button. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip side.